Dual Cultivation audiobook by Kevin Volume 2, Chapter 15. The Man Picked Up by the Gods, Volume 2, Chapter 15 TL Note. The part with Japanese characters is basically just Ryoma saying one word in borrowed English and another in Japanese. Volume 2, Chapter 15. The next day. The first thing I did in the morning was to go to the store. After I had confirmed that there were no problems in the store, I went to the abandoned mine. I started the production of the waterproof cloth again when I got to the abandoned mine, but thanks to that I'm bored again. While I was thinking about what to do while waiting for the cloths to finish last night, I ended up falling asleep. Thanks to that, I wasn't able to come up with anything. In my previous life, I just read light novels or play some games, but there's nothing like that here. I have already finished treating all of the cloths I received. I finished 30 yesterday, so all that was left for today was 20. With that, I finished faster than yesterday. Now what? I've also already finished training the slimes. Because of that, I thought of turning the scavenger slimes into a king scavenger slime and try fighting it one-on-one. These are the current skills of the scavenger slime. Skills. Disease resist LV7 poison resist LV7 eat filth, LV8 cleaning LV8 deodorization, LV8 deodorization liquid LV6, release stench LV8 return nutrients LV7 physical attack resistance LV5, enlarge LV5 compress LV6 jump LV3, overeating LV4 taijutsu LV2 I wonder if it's because the scavenger slime also learned the physical attack resistance. That the king scavenger slime's physical attack resistance rose by a level. The taijutsu of the scavenger slime is also only level 1, but after becoming a king scavenger slime, it's become level 2. When you compare the king scavenger slime to an individual scavenger slime, the level of skills seem to increase wholly. While I don't have any proof for it, I guess something is added to the slime's individual experience, causing the level to rise. By the way, I fought with the king scavenger slime barehanded, but because the effects of the physical attack resistance level 5 was quite high, my attacks barely had any effect. The entire body is elastic, so when you hit it, the impact just slides off. So while its techniques are still amateurish, defense-wise, it's quite excellent. When I put some serious effort in the power I use, I was able to get a hit in. My power, according to the status board, is B. It's at the level of a first-rate adventurer, so the slime's pretty good. Since if I have to force my way in like this every time, it becomes quite exhausting. Its weakness, though, lies in its lack of offensive power. With enlarge, the slime can increase its mass and pin down its opponents, but what about its physical strength? In regards to that, it has next to nothing. Putting it bluntly, its attacks have no power behind it at all. With only this, it can't be helped. So I taught it things like stretching its body into a tentacle and using it as a whip to attack, or using that tentacle to wrap around the opponent's arm when the opponent comes attacking and using enlarge to stick itself to the enemy, or using its elasticity while taking advantage of the opponent's energy to throw the opponent, and a bunch of other stuff. I also taught it a basic fighting tactic, where the king scavenger slime protects its body by parrying the attacks with its body. Then after using the opponent's strength to throw them off, pinning them down with its body after using enlarge. Doing all this took quite a bit of time, and yet the cloths are still not done, drying. It would be a good idea to try doing something else, but if I get overzealous, I'll lose track of time again. So I took a walk with my slimes instead. As I was about to go out after I had thought that, all of a sudden one of my slimes started acting weird. I can understand to some extent the status of the slimes because of the contract, but I don't know what's going on right now. What is going on? I quickly go over to the strange slime. The slime that had gotten weird was the slime I caught for the metal slime evolution experiment. Its body continued to shiver, but it didn't seem like it was sick or anything. Then in that case, no way. Could it actually be evolving? Ryama, it's still far too early for its evolution, but aside from that, I can't think of any other reason for its behavior. I ended up shouting, "It's evolving faster than I expected." And at that moment the slime suddenly stopped moving. And although it was minuscule, I felt the presence of magic power. The slime sucked in the magic power that leaked out, and then again and again. It continued this behavior for dozens of times, and as it did so, its color changed. In the end, its color changed to a silvery white color. Did it successfully evolve? It seems to be fine and there are no abnormalities. Only this isn't the color of a metal slime. The color of a metal slime is dark gray, yet this slime's color is like that of a lustrous silver. Realizing something was off, I quickly use Monster Identify and look at its status. What I saw was Iron Slime Skills Harden LV3 Physical Attack Resistance LV2 Jump LV1 Digestion LV3 Absorption LV3 Split LV2 according to the information. Its name is Iron Slime. The skill set is similar to that of the metal slimes, but its hardened skill level is one level higher. Iron, huh? Is it because I fed it iron that it became like this? But the metal slime also eats iron, right? They eat the same thing. So why did it turn out different? Iron Chinese letter is iron. Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter. Then metal. Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter is metal Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Ryama, as realization hit me, I promptly took out the stone I used as feed and used Identify on it. Building stone, red soil, a lump of the soil thrown in the mines and hardened with earth magic. Includes the following metal: iron oxide, aluminum oxide as expected. I had forgotten about it, but while the red soil may include iron oxide, some of it also includes aluminum oxide. Ryama, a former kuhai of mine from my construction job, told me about this before. That guy seemed like the young master of a good family, but for some reason he worked part-time at a construction job. Did his father make him work as a form of education? That's probably it. That guy was forced to work part-time, so since he wanted to play hooky, he stalled for time during break time by talking about various stuff. I thought he was just a hindrance to work, so I just generally ignored most of his mumbling. But who would have thought that his knowledge would actually be useful here? Metal slimes didn't only eat iron, they also ate aluminum. In fact, other metals may have also been mixed up with their food. Ryoma, I immediately extract the aluminum and iron from the brick with my alchemy, and then I called over the metal slime and the iron slime. What happened next was that the iron slime only ate the iron, but the metal slime was able to eat both the iron and the aluminum. I call over the metal slime and caress it. You were actually omnivorous when it came to metals. Iron slimes are iron, but I wonder what's going to happen to you. Will you turn to alloy since you combine both iron and alloy? I don't know much about it, but Ryama, I tried asking the metal slime, but naturally it didn't answer. Well, in any case, I've come to understand the evolution conditions. Oh, and speaking of which, it's my first time seeing a slime evolve, huh? Ryama, actually, this is my first time seeing a slime evolve. I don't know why, but for some reason they all evolved while I was asleep. It may be true that as long as I give them enough food, they'll evolve within half a year. But I don't actually know the exact date of their evolution. And it's not like I could actually watch them all the time. But still, to think that they actually evolved by releasing and absorbing magic power, no good, no good. If I start thinking about this now, I'll end up forgetting the time again. I have to do something else, come to think of it. I wonder if I've come to understand more about Identify. I don't know how the neutral magic, Identify, worked, but it felt kind of similar to how you get information by searching on the web. When I ask, "What is this?" vaguely, all it does is give out the name. Even if I ask for something more detailed, all it gives is a bunch of basic information. But during the time when I was cleaning the latrine pits, when I used identify back then, the word sterilization came out. And when I used identify, the word pathogen came out. That kind of knowledge doesn't exist in this world. So does that mean that the information that will come out will change depending on the user's knowledge? When I tried it out several times, I came to understand that it showed me more detailed information when I better visualized the specific things I wanted to know according to my knowledge. For example, the weight of this stone, the percentage of its contents and their weight. Building stone 503.9 G, red soil, a lump of the soil thrown in the mines and hardened with earth magic. Includes the following metal: iron oxide 4.2% 21.1638 G, aluminum oxide 5.1% 25.6989 G. Look, it became this specific. By visualizing it, I was able to make it more specific. I can use this. Right. Although it's good that I'm able to get more specific information now, it's not like I need it for something now. Or, I guess could gather the iron ingots I bring to Surgeson by grams. Or I could get the iron ingots that are circulating in the market of this world, use, identify on it, and then pattern my own iron ingots according to it. Since I don't want my own iron ingots to get attention, there's some value in doing that. But there's really not a whole lot of application for this new identify right now. Besides, everything's been fine so far. After that, while waiting for the waterproof cloths to finish drying, I made a bunch of 500G 80% ingots and aluminum ingots. And as soon as the cloths finished drying, I took everything and dropped them off at Surge's. After that, I took 300 sheets of cloth and went back to the lodging. It was at an odd time when I got there, so Elia and the others were not yet home. So I decided to go to the store. After all, it's already too late to get requests, so I thought I'd take a look at the store. When I got to the store, there were plenty of people as usual. Actually, doesn't there seem to be more people than usual? I entered the store through the employee door and then went to the lounge, but no one was there. Could it be that there's so many people that unless they all work, they can't make it? When I thought that, I went to the store, opening the doors one after another as I briskly walked. When I got there, one of the three girls, Fina, was there. "Boss, you came. Fina, good work today." I went to the employee lounge, but no one was there, so I thought you guys had your hands full. Ryalma, while we're not free, we're not that busy either. To say the least, there is quite a number of people. We've started to understand when the peak time is, so in order to match that, we're all dealing with it. Fina looks like they've gotten completely used to the job while I wasn't here. I was worried, but it looks like I'm not needed. While I was thinking that, I noticed. "Ah, Ryalma, what's the matter?" Fina looks like the cleaner slimes are ready to split. Ryalma, to the cleaner slimes, this job is basically eating. And since they've been eating a lot for a few days now, they've reached a point where they can split again. The slimes doing the laundry are going to increase. Since the preparations for that have already been completed, they'll increase a bit and the efficiency of the laundromat will rise. Ryalma, really? That's amazing. Fina, yep, slimes are amazing, you know. Well, don't mind me. Ryalma, okay. Fina, as Fina-san said that she took a nearby laundry and ran along. Let's do this. After that, I had the slimes split and contracted with them. Because of that, the cleaner slimes now total to 54. Even though cleaner slimes don't split much, there were 10 of them that split twice. As expected, by eating so much every day in a store like this, they're able to split quickly. Moreover, once I let the cleaner slimes split, their numbers will increase, and their work will become even faster, increasing the store's efficiency rate by folds. This rise in efficiency won't be put to waste. I'm here too, So I decided to have the people that can receive the customers receive them. Because of that, the ones who ended up working as receptionists are Karma-san, Carla-san, Faye-san, Li-Ling-san, Maria-san, and Fina-san, while me and Jean-san carried the laundries. Because of the rise in efficiency and the increased number of receptionists, the transactions were able to flow smoother. After a while, the peak time subsided, and the employees were able to get some rest by alternating. In the meantime, I went around performing some maintenance on the stores surrounding. After that, we were able to safely close the store again. Volume 2, Chapter 16, The Man Picked Up by the Gods, Volume 2, Chapter 16 TL Note. Here's your extra chapter, guys. Special thanks to the Anons for donating and making this chapter possible. Slight mistranslation at the end of the last chapter. Ryalma hasn't left the store yet. The new line for the last line in the last chapter now reads as, after that, we were able to safely close the store again. Volume 2, Chapter 16, After closing the shop. After we closed the shop, I had the cleaner slimes do a simple sweep of the store, then had them drink water. Afterwards, Carla-san came to me to report the profit for the day. For some reason, the atmosphere feels different from the usual report. Boss, it's about today's earnings. Carla, what's wrong? Are we in the red? Ryalma, no, we're not in a deficit. We're good. Carla, so I guess we were able to make quite profit today as well then. Ryalma, it's different from yesterday, Ryalma-sama. With just today alone, we were able to make 26,036 suits. Carla, 26,036 suits. Wait a moment, yesterday and the day before yesterday should have only been 16,000 suits, right? How did we suddenly add another 10,000 to that? Ryalma, this morning when you left, we managed to land a big contract. Apparently, the blacksmiths and the boss of the carpenters heard about this store by word of mouth. The workers of the ironworks, too. In total, they bought 50 and 35 people's portion of bags. But that's not all, because word of the store has been spread. Even the customers who are going for the small group option has increased. And even the people who come only for themselves have also increased. Lastly, the bags are also still being continually sold. Carla, could you count the number of plates? It's not like I'm doubting you or anything, I just want to confirm with my own eyes. Ryalma, of course. Please wait at the office, I'll bring it now. Carla, being told that, I went to the office, took a chair, and waited there. Come to think of it, this is my first time using this room, huh? Well, I was always either serving customers or in the employee lounge. While I was thinking that, Carla-san came with a piece of paper in her hands. This is the number of plates for the day. Carla-san, thank you very much. Ryalma, I took the paper Carla-san brought and looked at it. Service for individuals 10 suits plate. 998 plates. 9,980 suits service for 14 people 18 suits plate. 152 plates. 2,736 suits service for 35 people 40 suits plate. 55 plates. 2,200 suits singles bag 20 suits plate. 159 plates. 3,180 suits bag for 1425 suits plate. 68 plates. 1,700 suits bag for 3530 suits plate. 50 plates. 1,500 suits armor laundry service 15 suits plate. 316 plates. 4,740 suits total 26,036 suits. Certainly, it is 26,036 suits. I'm speechless. To think that it would actually make this much, I'm really shocked. Ryalma, even if you deduct the sales of the bags, it's still around 20,000 suits. This, too, is thanks to the cleaner slimes and to everyone. Speaking of which, what about the others? Ryalma, they're gathered at the employee lounge and are confirming the earnings. Carla, confirming the earnings. Ryalma, because the earnings for today have medium copper coins and small copper coins mixed up, they are currently segregating those while calculating and confirming that the amount is correct. Carla, so it's something like that. In that case, let's go help out. Ryama, please don't, that's servant work. Carla, it's fine, it's fine. Even if it's only in name, I am the boss of this store. I'm also everyone's comrade when it comes to this job, so I'll help out. Ryama, I understand. However, Ryama-sama, you are not a manager by name alone. You are the real boss of this store. Carla, together with Carla-san, I headed towards the employee lounge. Is what I'd like to say, but really the room is right next to us. Thanks for you hard work. Ryama, boss, thanks for today. Karma, thanks for today. Fina, Jean, Maria, Li Ling, Fei. When I entered, Karma-san was the first to greet me. Afterwards, the other 5 followed. There is a huge amount of copper coins lying on top of the big table. Looks like they're counting by hand, one at a time. Thank you very much for all your hard work, everyone. It's really a huge help to me that I'm able to leave all the work to you guys. Ryama, there's no such thing, you know. After all, this store is treating us really well. Jean, exactly, Ryama-sama. Being able to do this much is only a given since we were hired as workers after all. Karma, at Karma-san's words, everyone in the room nodded. Carla-san, who was behind me, also nodded. I see. Thank you for that. Then shall we continue? You were counting these coins, right? Ryama, yes. However, just with us alone, it should be fine. Karma, the more hands, the better. Besides, this is a huge amount. Ryama, today's earning is 26,036 suits, and all of that is in small and medium copper coins. In other words, 1 suit and 10 suits. That's why it's only natural that there'd be so many copper coins. Then in that case, please, over here, Karma. There's a spot beside me, Ryama-sama. Fei, excuse me. Ryama, I sit beside Fei-san and begin counting the copper coins. Still, this is taking quite a bit of time. If you include me, with all 8 of us, the work should go faster, but... And then after around a minute of working like that, something hit me. Or rather, I remembered. There was that thing that could be found in a bank, wasn't it? I quickly take out a bag of quicklime. As I did that, the other 7 looked at me. Without minding them, I used identify on a small copper coin. What is the diameter and the thickness of this coin? Small copper coin. 1 suit, the smallest coin made out of copper. Diameter 0.9 cm, thickness 2 mm. Right, I've changed my opinion. I might actually be able to use this new identify. Boss, what are you doing? Using identify on the coin, are you actually checking for counterfeit money? Fei, no, I just thought I'd make a tool. Ryama, tool. Fei, please look. Create block. Ryama, using create block. I transform the quicklime into an oblong building stone. But I made the insides of the building stone hollow, turning it into some sort of box. I remove one end of the box with break rock. With this, if you incline it, then the object inside will fall. Furthermore, I use earth magic on the part that has become hollow and cause a 5×10 square, with each grid extending 1 cm in all directions, to swell and make lines. The height of the swollen part is 2. With this, 1 copper coin can enter 1 grid. When I used identify, this is what happened. Building stone, quicklime length, 14 cm width, 7 cm height, 1 cm quicklime that has been hardened with earth magic. The shape has been warped according to its maker's will. Good, it's a success. Boss, what is that? Karma, you use this like this. Ryama, as I said that, I put the 2 copper coins I was holding inside the building stone. I pin down the end and shake it, left and right. The coins made a jingling sound, and when all the coins fitted into the grids, I let go of the part I was holding, and the coins that couldn't fit into a grid went back to the mountain of copper coins. After that, I had Fei-san count the copper coins that managed to fit into the grids of the building stone. Fei-san, can you count these copper coins? Ryama, all right, I'll count them. Fei, and so Fei-san began to count. When Fei-san got close to finishing, his eyes gave a piercing gaze. 50 pieces, exactly 50 pieces. Boss, you made another convenient tool, huh? Fei, as Fei-san said that, Karma-san, Carla-san, and Li Ling-san all noticed the advantage of using this building stone. The 3 girls didn't seem to notice, though. So I had them count next. I quickly put in the copper coins, shake it, and then distribute the remaining copper coins to the three. It's 50. Jean, 50. Maria, it's 50 here too. How come? Fina currencies are generally decided by their thickness and size. So exactly 50 pieces are able to fit in the grid within the building stone. In other words, if you put small copper coins into this, it will be exactly 50 pieces. Ryalma, amazing. Fina, Ryalma-sama, could you also make that for us? Karma, of course. Ryalma, Jean looks like one of the three girls. Jean still couldn't get it. These guys are clearly hardworking people, but it would appear that they're bad at thinking. Well, it looks like I was at least able to make Fina-san and Maria-san understand the benefits of this. And so, the two began explaining to Jean about the building stone. I went back to the bag of quicklime and used create block to make several building blocks, and then distributed it to the others. After that, I also used identify on the medium copper coin, and then made several building blocks that can fit 100 medium copper coin, and then distributed them as well. The result of that was that we were able to proceed smoothly, and without even taking 10 minutes, we managed to count everything. When we finished counting, I noticed that it was mostly small copper coins. I thought there would be more medium copper coins, but as it turns out, there are more customers that pay with the small copper coin. After that, I asked about the state of the store, like if there's anything troubling them or something. Something troubling, Maria, there's nothing in particular, right guys? Jean, this store treats us well, so naturally we won't have any complaints. Fina, anyone who would have the galls to complain while working in a store like this is just too spoiled. Faye, really? Isn't the salary too cheap? Ryalma, not good. I forgot to give them a rest day. What employee benefits? I actually made them work without letting them rest. What's wrong, boss? Your face suddenly became pale. Faye, I forgot about giving you guys a rest day. Ryalma, when everyone heard my words, they doubted their ears. And then Jean-san yelled, Boss, you couldn't possibly be thinking of going so far as to even give us a rest day. Jean, what's with this reaction? Isn't that a given? Well, it's not really something I should say after I forgot about it, but as I take a better look, everyone seemed to be same and was giving me looks of surprise. I think it would be better if you guys had at least one rest day in a week. Have a fixed holiday once every week, and then by alternating with someone. Ryalma, when I said that, the three girls suddenly became really happy. I was a bit confused at that reaction, and so Carla-san explained it to me. Boss, amongst those who leave their homes to work, there aren't many who are able to get rest. In the case where they don't possess a certain ability, they get exploited and are even paid poorly. But in this store, it's completely different. Not only are they treated well, they are even given a high salary. With these kind of conditions, it's only normal to assume that they won't be given any rest days. Carla, moreover, not having a rest day is not only limited to workers that came from somewhere far. Even small stores and groceries don't have any rest day except for special events. After all, if they were to give out rest days, then the management will have a harder time. So it isn't strange at all for there to no rest days. Karma, in other words, stores that can barely get by, huh? Well, there are those kind of stores too. When we went out of our village, our parents apologized to us a lot, you know. Sorry for pushing this painful job to you, they said. Jean, I heard that if we were to be hired by someone bad, then forget about being paid dirt cheap and being exploited. Even our chastity would be in danger. Maria, this world handles their employees pretty bad, huh? As I thought that, I looked over to Carla-san. Employers that pursue a physical relationship do go against the law, but unfortunately, there are employers that do such things. There's not that many of them, but still, as an employee, it's something that one needs to watch out for. Carla, well, there was also sexual harassment in the previous world. So I guess this is one thing that won't change, regardless of whether you change worlds or not. My store treasures its employees and aims for a healthy management, so everyone please rest assured. Ryama, when I said that, everyone broke into smiles and said, please take care of us. Regarding the rest day, they said that it's a waste to make it now, since we can't interrupt the flow of customers right now. So it was instead decided that they would take a holiday in shifts, one day at a time. While we were having that discussion, I noticed that the time was approaching 9 o'clock, so I bid everyone goodbye and went back to the lodging. I ended up out late again, so I might get scolded. When I got to the lodging, Elia and the others had already gotten home. I leave my belongings in my room and went to Elia's room. There I heard from Sebasu-san and Rainbox-sama that they were welcomed by the public office today. Several scandalous things had happened, so from the looks of things it seems that they were trying to curry favor. Naturally, though, such a thing wouldn't have any effect. And in the end, it turned into Rainbox-sama giving a sermon to the people in charge. Several of the top brasses of the public office had already been arrested and fired, and as for the others, they had their pay reduced. But on top of all that, people were hired to manage the members of the public office, including the new heads. Looks like from here on, the public office will be strictly managed by those guys. When I asked whether those guys were from the village, well, the town obviously lacks people to manage the town, so, Sebasu, unless we more or less beat the guts of a decent person into them and train them, we won't be able to supplement the town with enough usable manpower. After all, there's a limit to the number of people that we can really trust. Rainbach is how he replied. Makes sense, by the way, because Elia was apparently given wine, she is already sound asleep. Even during my store's opening party, despite having only drank one glass, her face became flushed. It seems she isn't very good with alcohol. Reinhardt-san and the madam also seemed to be asleep already, so I decided not to overstay and cause them trouble, so I left Volume 2, Chapter 17 TL note. Here's your first chapter for the day. In other news, I just found out how to customize the URL today. Japanese letter. Letter FF86, letter FF94, letter FF98, letter FF6F, Volume 2, Chapter 17. The next day, my head. It hurts. Reinhardt, I couldn't see Elia and the others yesterday, so when I woke up today, I went over to their room to check up on them. There I saw Reinhardt-san suffering from a hangover. Ara, good morning, Ryama-kun. Madam, good morning, everyone. Ryama-kun. Reinhardt looks painful. Should I make you some medicine? Ryama, mind if I ask you to? Reinhardt, no problem. Ryama, using warp, I went over to different stores to buy the things I need. First, I dropped by at the chemist to buy the ingredients. Then I went to the grocery to look for a fruit. When I found it, I bought it and went back to the lodging. As soon as I got back, I immediately concocted the medicine and a fruit juice that can be drank with it. Here, please drink this. Then afterwards, please drink some water. Ryama, it would have been great if I was able to buy some Japanese persimmons, or some of the clams used for miso soup, though. There were plenty of otherworlders in this world, so there should probably be some somewhere, right? I guess I'll go looking for it next time. Thanks, I'll drink it. Reinhardt, I think it would be better if you don't drink alcohol too much, Reinhardt-san. Ryama, I'm ashamed yesterday was, it hurts. Reinhardt, from what I'd gathered after listening to the groaning Reinhardt-san. It would appear that in order to curry favor, some of the people in charge continued to give them liquor and extravagant food, one after another. The madam may have been fine, but Elia was a different story. Elia had only just recently become able to drink alcohol legally and was still not used to it. Because of this, she was not able to pace herself. That's why there were also people who tried to stop them from making her drink too much, but because some were just too persistent, Reinhardt-san ended up drinking a lot in her place. When I heard that, I became worried. Elia, are you all right with that kind of stuff? When you grow up, won't that kind of stuff increase? I'm all right, since I won't get hangovers or end up dead drunk because of Tekun Sama's divine protection. And while I don't know how much alcohol my body can take, I still have my experience from my previous life. Speaking of which, should I test how much I can drink with this body? While I was thinking that, I saw Reinhardt-san drink the medicine and the juice. Seeing that, I left the lodging. It's a bit late, but I'll go to store. And then after checking the store a bit, I left. Afterwards, I decided to also go to the abandoned mine, since there's something I wanted to try out. And along the way also catch some slimes. But before going, I thought I'd to the guild to get an herb collection quest, since it's pretty convenient to collect the herbs along the way. Hello, Malin-san. Ryama Ara Ryama-kun. Are you here to take a request? Malin. Yes, since the employees have already become capable enough to take care of the shop on their own. Ryama, to think that you're actually already able to have your own store and hire people at your age. You're quite the successful little boy, aren't you? Malin. It's because my luck is good. Ryama. Really? While this isn't a request, I think it might be good for you to hear this. Malin. Not a request. What are you talking about? Ryama. Actually, there's a party of 5 adventurers that came from a different village. But the thing is that party actually came here to bring a rare slime they caught. Malin. What? Can I hear more regarding that? Ryama. Catching a rare beast or providing information regarding the locations frequented by rare beasts will normally get a sizable reward from the Tamer Guild. And so that party went to the Tamer Guild with a rare slime they'd caught, and they tried to sell it. But let alone be compensated poorly for the rare slime, their hopes for a transaction weren't even entertained. Because they're still young, it would appear that they weren't privy to the fact that despite being rare, almost all types of slime aren't purchased. Your heel slimes are a different story, though. Anyway, in the end, that party, having spent a lot of money to come here, looks to be at a complete loss on what to do. Malin. In other words, you want me to buy that slime from them? Ryama. Exactly. Well, what do you think? Want it? Malin. Yes, very much. Could you tell me where that group is staying at? Ryama. They're staying at a cheap inn over at the East District called Badger Inn, and the name of their group is Bridge of Scheme. Malin. Thank you very much. I'll go now. Ryama. I immediately left the guild and hurriedly went towards the Badger Inn. I was able to easily find the Badger Inn, but from looking outside it looks really worn out. What is this supposed to be? An abandoned building. Anyway, for the meantime, let's try to enter. When I entered the inn, the man at the counter bluntly said this. Welcome, you a customer. Man, I have business with the Bridge of Scheme that's supposed to be staying here. Are they here? Ryama. They are. Man, as he said that, he pointed towards the door to the right. They're eating over there at the bar that doubles as a cafeteria. One of them has been drinking since daytime while complaining, so watch yourself. Man. Thank you very much. Ryama. A bit blunt, but he's a nice guy. I opened the door and entered the cafeteria. When I got inside, there were only 5 customers. Seeing that, I immediately understood that they're the party Malin was talking about. All of them looked to be around the latter half of their tens. Excuse me, are you the members of the party known as Bridge of Scheme? Ryama. MN. And you are? Adventurer. Please excuse the late introduction. My name is Ryama Takebayashi. I am a slave magic user and an adventurer. Ryama. Ha, you. A brat like you is an adventurer. Adventurer. Stop it, Thane. Sorry, this guy's mood is a bit bad. Adventurer 2, I heard that you brought a rare slime with you and failed when you tried to sell it to the guild. Ryama. Yeah, and what? Adventurer 2, ha, then what, bitch? You came here to pick a fight. Thane, the guy called Thane, stood up and walked towards me, but his party members stopped him. No, I didn't come here to pick a fight. Ryama. What? Then I guess you came here to make fun of us, huh? For even a brat like this, fuck this shit. Yeah, that's right. We're morons. We thought we'd make a killing by selling a rare magical beast, and we even went so far as to spend a lot of money just to get here. And in the end, we couldn't even sell it and made a huge loss instead. But why do we have to be made fun of by a bitch like you? Thane, as Thane said that, he broke down crying. Looks like he's completely drunk. A bad case of persecution complex to go with it too. Thane, Adventurer 2, calm down Adventurer 3, I'll take Thane to the room, he can't talk like this after all. Adventure 4, I'll go too. Adventurer 5, the two men who I'm unacquainted with took Thane to their room. Let's do this again, we are the Bridge of Scheme and I'm their leader Shin. Adventurer 2 and I'm Guy, sorry about Thane. Adventurer 3, it's fine. Ryoma, thanks. Then what business do you have with us? Shin, oh right, that's what's important, who cares about whether there's a drunk or not. Just as I've mentioned a while ago, I would like to purchase the slime. Ryoma, that slime. Shin, I'm happy that you want to buy the slime, but why? We were laughed at a lot by the Tamer Guild, you know. Guy, it's because I'm gathering slimes and researching them. Because of that, I want to acquire rare slimes. Ryoma, you're gathering slimes. That's quite odd. But just as Guy had mentioned, we'd be grateful if you took it off our hands. Shin, so you'll let me purchase it then. How much will it be? Ryoma, right, how about you decide? After all, we were told by the Tamer Guild that a price can't be attached to it, so it's quite difficult for us to name a price. Shin, as long as you can pay it, anything's fine. After all, we're leaving tomorrow anyway. Guy, is that so? Then could you show me that slime? If it's one of the slimes I'm already raising, then I'll buy it cheaply. But if it's not, then I'll pay plenty for it. Ryoma, all right, that's fine. Shin, give me a sec, I'll bring it out now. Guy, as Guy said that, he stood up from his seat and came back with a box after 3 seconds. There's a slime inside this. Carefully take a look. Guy, excuse me. Ryoma, I opened the lid while being careful and took a look at the slime in there. That slime was dark red. And compared to normal slimes, its body was a lot more muddy and closer to liquid. After I'd confirmed that, I closed the lid. How is it, Shin? It's not one of the slimes I'm raising, so I'll put a high price on it, excuse me for asking, but may I know how much you've spent until now? Ryoma, around 5,000 suits. We cut as much as we could on our expenses, but we couldn't cut it any further than this. Shin, hearing that, I took out a small gold coin from my item box. Then in that case, I'll pay double of that for 10,000 suits. Ryoma, when they heard that, the two couldn't help but be flustered. Seriously? Guy, is it really okay to buy a slime for one small gold coin? Shin, of course. After all, it's thanks to everyone that I'll be able to acquire a new slime. Ryoma, there's nothing regrettable about getting a new slime for one small gold coin. I see. We don't have any complaints here either. Shin, then in that case, please take this. Ryoma, I hand over the small gold coin to Shin-san. Certainly. Shin, then I'll be taking this slime, thank you very much. Ryoma, the one who should be thanking is us. Guy, with this, our concerns regarding money will be gone. I guess Thane should calm down too. Shin, well, it's not like I don't understand how that guy feels. After all, there was also a time where I didn't have any money and was extremely worried. Speaking of which, isn't there a lucrative request that should be coming out soon? By the way, if you want to make some money, then I think it'll be better if you stay in the town for a bit longer. From what I hear, there's an outbreak of a certain monster that will occur in a nearby swamp, and apparently, that monster can be sold as ingredients for a high price. As long as you're able to ignore the stench, then it should reap you plenty of profits. Ryoma, really? Shin, yes, please confirm it at the guild. And while I'm not privy to the exact date of the outbreak, it should be soon. Ryoma, you've saved us. Guy, thanks for the information. Isn't there any way we can repay you? Shin, I don't really need any thanks though. Oh right, since it's like this, I could try advertising. Then in that case, please come over to my store. As a sideline, I opened up a laundry agency, though it turned out to become way bigger than a sideline. Ryoma, laundry agency. Shin, yes. You can get whatever clothes that fit into a bag bought from the store for 1 medium copper coin washed. Moreover, there's a special option for adventurers that will clean armor and equipment for only 1 medium copper coin and 5 small copper coins. Ryoma, there was such a store. Guy, all right. It's cheap too, so we'll give it a shot. Shin, thank you very much. The store is located at the East District before the residential area. There's also a lot of adventurers that come, so if you're lost, just ask someone and you should find the way. Ryalma will definitely go. Guy, thanks for everything. Shin I took the stone box, left the badger in, and then headed towards the abandoned mine. After all, that's the best place to perform slime research. I also won't have to pay attention to my surroundings. The first thing I did when I got to the abandoned mine was to start the production of the waterproof cloth. Today's quota is 50 sheets. I'm here anyway, so if I don't do it now, it'll be my loss. After I finished that, I went a-taming the slime. I gently opened the lid of the stone box, gazed at the slime, and then contracted it. Afterwards, I used Monster Identify on it, at which this came out. Bloody slime skills: bloodsucking, LV4 deodorization, LV3 disease resistance, LV3 poison resistance, LV1 act dead, LV10 digestion, LV2 absorption, LV4 split, LV1 bloody slime. It also possesses a bloodsucking skill, so its meal is definitely blood. On top of that, deodorization and disease resistance, and while its level is low, it also possesses poison resistance. And then what is this act dead skill? Act dead as in it fakes being dead. Well, it's a skill, so it's not like I have any complaints. The problem is its feed. Since its feed is blood, I wonder what I should do. I guess I'll hunt a suitable magical beast. Ryalma, I order the slimes to play by themselves without going too far. Then I take the bloody slime with me to go hunting. When the slimes got my orders, there were dozens of slimes who took out some staff and spears for practice purposes and started practicing. Looks like there were some zealous slimes. Several slimes assembled and started practicing the staff techniques, spear techniques, and taijutsu I had taught them. The slimes performed the techniques I taught them, form after form, learning by rote. And then there were also slimes that sparred against each other. It feels like their movements are gradually becoming better. While I was thinking that, I went off with the bloody slime to find some prey, and after some time I found a horned rabbit. I took out a bow and arrow from my item box. Then with one hit, I felled the horned rabbit. Afterwards, I went over to the corpse of the horned rabbit, then I let the bloody slime eat. When the bloody slime got my order, it slid closer to the horned rabbit's corpse, and then it began to suck the blood coming from the wound. Blood-sucking, Well, there are also living beings that sucked blood back in earth. Like mosquitoes or fleas, come to think of it, there was also a bird that drank blood, right? I guess it feels something like that. While I was observing the bloody slime, I tried to form a conjecture regarding its ecology. But while I was doing that, the bloody slime, whose body was already closer to liquid than other slimes, made its body even more like liquid. Then it entered the horned rabbit's body. It entered the body through the wound. Ryalma, unexpected. To start off with, the bloody slime's body was already not sticky, making it different from the other slimes. But now it started to become even less muddy as it became silky like liquid. And like that, it entered the blood vessels of the horned rabbit and stuck itself to the blood as it sucked it. This nature is again quite different as opposed as to the other slimes. There was actually a slime like this. Ryalma, while I was being shocked by the bloody slime's behavior, the bloody slime went out from inside the horned rabbit's body. Its color was dark red, as if someone had just blown out blood or something. It's a little ghastly. After I confirmed that the bloody slime had fully gotten out, I used Identify on the corpse of the horned rabbit. How is it? Corpse of the horned rabbit. It is possible to extract the horn, the meat, and the pelt. Because it was felled in one shot by the knock of an arrow, the horn and the pelt have received little damage and are thus considered a high-quality commodity. It has also had its blood drained as soon as it was killed, causing the foul smell to decrease. Because of this, the meat is considered to be a high-quality commodity. I get the horn and the pelt, but what's up with the meat? Drain. Is it referring to the bloody slime's blood-sucking? It's that, right? I can't think of anything else aside from that. But while it's good that it's a high-class commodity, it doesn't have any diseases, right? As I thought that, I used identify another time to look for diseases. Seeing that there were none, I was relieved. As an adventurer and as a hunter, I think this ability is really convenient. When I got back to the mine, I took apart the horned rabbit's body. When I tried cooking and eating it, I found out that its stench had really gone down and has become really delicious. The stench disappearing might also have something to do with its deodorization skill. Does this mean that in order to make a slime evolve into a bloody slime, I'll have to make it drink blood? Then I guess I'll have to gather some blood. But how? It's not like I could go harvest a huge amount of beasts and magical beasts from around here. Ryalma, if I mobilize the slimes, then I should be able to gather a significant amount. But then the ecosystem here might be affected, and I'll also end up ruining other adventurers' jobs. Oh, I got it. I should try talking to Zeeksan. Ryalma Zeeksan is a butcher. Since it seems he also buys meat from adventurers, it might be possible to have him drain and put aside some blood for me. I should talk to him when I get back. After that, I went back to the abandoned mine, at which I suddenly remembered that I had forgotten to capture some slimes. So I went around looking for some slimes, and in the end, I was able to catch 3 from the tunnels. After I had tamed them, the cloths still weren't finished drying. So I decided to try out an experiment. Volume 2, Chapter 18, The Man Picked Up by the Gods. Volume 2, Chapter 18 TL Note. Second chapter for the day. Made possible by one of the 2 Anons who donated and filled the queue by themselves. Much thanks, Anon. Volume 2, Chapter 18, I steady my breath, then I release magic power towards the 3 slimes before me. That magic power caused the slimes to shake and jump. Because it can't be seen, if someone were to see this, they just assume that the slimes were shaking. But because I have the magic perception skill, I know what's happening. The slimes are reacting to the magic power and are absorbing it little by little. As expected, Ryalma, I thought of this when I saw the slime's evolution yesterday. That time the slime released magic power and then it absorbed it. And because the heal slimes were able to use healing magic, I knew that the slimes definitely possessed magic power. I think the reason the slime can evolve to heal slime is because of healing magic. Following that train of thought, if I used fire magic and ice magic, then I should also be able to make a slime according to that, right? Or so I thought before, and at that time I failed, but what about now? That time, I used magic several times to no effect. And with offensive magic, the slimes would only end up hurt, so I stopped. But what about this? I release magic a second time. This time I release it while visualizing the magic power as if it's burning up, just like when I use fire magic. The image one comes up with is different from person to person, but by doing this, one who possesses neutral magic power will be able to change that magic power into that of the fire element. Whether one is able to do this or not depends on the person, but it also depends on the attribute one possesses. Normally, when I change the attribute of my magic power, I'll end up firing off magic at the same time, but just right before that, I stop myself and release it as only magic power. Doing this is more sensitive than using magic normally. Ryalma, as I kept releasing magic like that towards the slimes slowly began to absorb magic power slower. When I tried changing the attributes after that, I understood that 2 out of 3 of the slimes liked earth attribute, and one of them preferred dark attribute. After that, while waiting for the cloths to dry, I continued to give the 3 slimes magic power until I almost ran out. It would be great if I could make the slimes evolve like this. Anyway, there's no harm to the slimes, so I guess I'll keep this up. After that, I took a break, and when the cloths finished drying, I went back to the town and headed towards Zeke's store. When I got there, a boy around 14 or 15 greeted me. "Welcome, may I know what kind of meat you're looking for?" "Boy, excuse me, I have business with your boss." "Ryalma, I see. Boss, there's a customer who's looking for you." Boy, at those words, Zeke-san, who was covered in blood, came out. Pale skin and thin to the point where he looked sick. On top of that, blood-stained clothes. Looking at this person, he's quite scary, although in a different way from Wogan. "Well, if it isn't Ryalma-kun, what business do you have?" "Zeke, actually, Ryalma," I explained the situation. "There was a slime like that." "All right then, in that case you can take as much blood as you want from my store, since I won't be using them anyway." "Zeke, thank you very much." "Ryalma, do you need it now?" "I have a lot right now, since some young adventurers brought a lot of spoils with them." "Zeke, I'll take it then, thank you very much." Ryalma, I entered Zeke-san's workplace. In there 5 men were working. Alongside the wall there was a joist with many hooks attached to it. On those, several beasts hang by a cord as it was drained of its blood. Over here, Zeke's eye was brought to 2 big containers that were right underneath the beasts. Inside those were all of the beast's blood. That container was nearly as long as the room itself. "Thank you very much. Is it okay if let the slime drink this?" "Ryalma, go ahead." Zeke, after getting permission, I let the bloody slime go inside the container. In the blink of an eye, the bloody slime sucked in all of the blood. The men who were working also told me that it was convenient for them. Apparently, they need to get rid of all these blood when it gets full, but doing that is a hassle. And even if it's not full, they still have to wash it thoroughly. So it's quite convenient for them to have it cleaned like this, since on top of being big, it's quite heavy. When a big game comes, just like today, it take a lot of effort just to drain all of the blood. Zeke, I see. Ryalma, after that, Zeke-san told me to come whenever I need blood. On top of that, I also got some spoiled meats and bones. It would have just been thrown away, so Zeke-san generously gave these to me. With this, I've managed to secure some feed for the scavenger slimes and the acid slimes. Thank you, Zeke-san. After that, I left Zeke-san's store. Walk briskly. Man, it hurts. Man 2, what are you bitches looking at, huh? Man, this ain't a show. Man 3, shut up and walk. Man, from my store, I saw some ill-bred men leave as they were escorted by the guards. Did something happen? I hurriedly enter my store, and when I got there, the employees were gathered. Is everyone okay? Ryalma, boss, Karma. I happened to pass by chance and I noticed some guys were being escorted by the guards. Is everyone all right? Ryalma, we're all right, Tilda, and no one was injured either. Jean Fei-san stopped them all by himself. Maria, really? Thank you very much, Fei-san. Ryalma, don't mind. This is also a part of my job. Fei-san and Li Ling-san were the guards of this store, huh? We didn't know that at all. Fina, well, it's because there was no need to talk about it. Fei, you really saved us today. Fei-san and Li Ling were, of course, a great help, and because Ryalma-sama employed the 2 of you, the store, the employees, and all the customers were unharmed. Carla, oh no, I didn't do anything at all. Ryalma, after all, I got there when everything had already ended. As I was thinking that, Li Ling-san said this. Boss, I have something I need to talk about with you. It's about a countermeasure that will be necessary from here on out. Li Ling, being told that, I went with her inside the store along with Karma-san and Carla-san, while the store was left to Fei-san and the 3 girls. When we got to the office, she began to talk. Although I say it's a countermeasure, there's nothing particularly wrong with the way things are now. As long as my dad is around, there won't be any problems. If it's just something along the likes of ill-bred ruffians, then my dad can handle it all by himself. But there's something I want to ask, boss. Boss, do you remember anyone holding a grudge against you? Li Ling. Someone who hates me. Ryalma, it seems that those ruffians were hired by someone. While waiting for the guards to arrive, we use some truth serum to make them spill the beans, so it's definitely correct. Lai Ling, hearing that, I tried thinking about it, and I once had a dispute with an adventurer group of 40 people, and I beat them up. And then there's that guild master from the Tamer Guild who seems to hate me. Ryoma, I guess it's possible that they hold a grudge. And then there's Matthew. But while I don't think there's any reason for him to hate me, then in that case, I think the suspicious one is the guild master. The ruffians did say that they were paid quite a bit. The amount they were paid wasn't something you'd pay to a ruffian, even if there were a few of them. There might be someone who would pay that much, even at the cost of being able to live. But then the number of people who would do such a thing is exceedingly small. Lai Ling, the ruffians today, quarreled with the customers and started ranting with a loud voice. Karma, Fei San, being cautious of that, subdued them, but Carla, certainly, that isn't the kind of act you'd pay someone at the cost of your own lifestyle. After all, if such a person hated me that much, he'd personally come to hurt me, right? Then in that case, it's Matthew, huh? Ryoma, is that the name of the guild master of the Tamer Guild? Karma, yes. He looked down on the fact that I haven't tamed any monster aside from slimes, and because I have a relationship with the Duke, he's quite envious of me. Ryoma, well, that kind of person can be found anywhere. While we haven't confirmed whether that man is the culprit or not, we should take some precautions. Carla, it's good that the ruffians knew, but it looks like the other side's also being careful not to be found out. Lai Ling, if our profits were to get out, then this kind of thing will more or less happen. There's nothing else to it aside from preparing and dealing with it each time it happens. Ryoma, the discussion proceeded like this. First, Carla-san and Karma-san will go to the Merchant Guild and inform the guild master about today's incident. As for me, I'll let the Duke know of what happened today. And then from today onwards, Fei San and Li Ling-san will be in charge of the security during the day. During the night, I'll release the slimes to patrol the premises and the store. Like this, we were able to finalize our course of action. When I got back to the lodging, I talked to Reinhardt-san. But because he wanted me to hire some guards using his influence, it almost became a serious matter. The ones he wanted me to hire immediately were all either former soldiers or knights. They were all apparently veterans who had retired after suffering a wound, but unfortunately, those are not the kind of people that my store would hire. Incidentally, one of the people he wanted to introduce to me was a former leader of the knights. Apparently, he was Rain Baksama's comrade in arms. You think I can hire someone like that? We took some time negotiating, and after a while it was decided that it'll be under observation for now. Come to think of it, I inadvertently ignored it, but Li Ling-san actually even had truth serum with her. Well, she's dependable, so whatever. I guess I'll retire for the day. Volume 2, Chapter 19, The Man Picked Up by the Gods, Volume 2, Chapter 19 TL Note. Here's your third and last chapter of the day. Brought to you by the other Anon who donated and filled up a queue by himself. A round of applause for Anon, everyone. Volume 2, Chapter 19, The next day. Ryoma-san, are you awake? Elia, early in the morning, Elia came over to visit me in my room. Sebasu-san was also with her. What's the matter? Ryoma, I'm going to be instructed by my father regarding slave magic. Would you like to come as well? Elia, slave magic, huh? Come to think of it, the only things I can use in regards to slave magic are the contract and the monster identify. And then there's the contract release. Are there any other magic aside from these? Well, I have time, so why don't I go and see? But then there's also that incident with the ruffians yesterday. While I was thinking that, Sebasu-san came over and whispered to my ear. It's a bit sudden, but I heard Ryoma-sama has been able to get some free time lately. Since there's some time, won't Ryoma-sama please consider going out with the Ajao-sama? After all, it's been decided that she will be separating from Ryoma-sama soon. So I want to create as much time as possible for the two of you. I've also already arranged for someone to watch over your employees today. Sebasu Atilda. Now that he mentions it, it's certainly true that ever since I decided to go independent, I've been spending my time with matters regarding the store. And because of that, I haven't been able to make any time for Elia. She's also concerned about her colossal magic power, so she's probably quite happy to have been able to make a friend. I guess I did something bad. I understand. Then shall we go learn together, Ryalma, really? Elia, as Elia said that, she gave off a dazzling smile. For some reason I feel guilty. Or rather, since I didn't notice that I was wrong until I was told, I guess I am at fault. After that, I went to the store once to let the employees know about this. With a smile they replied, "Leave it to us." Even though something like that happened yesterday, they haven't uttered a word of complaint. Really, what a nice bunch. I'm glad to have hired them. After that, we went to the abandoned mine. From the looks of things, our training area will be here in the abandoned mine. And right now, standing before me and Elia is the madam who is holding a bird cage. Well then, let's begin the training for slave magic. First, what is a slave magic user? Elia. Madam, a slave magic user is someone who contracts with a magical beast and uses magic to borrow the power of the magical beast. When performing the slave monster contract, a connection is formed between the magical beast and the practitioner via magic power. Because of that, it is possible to come to understand each other. Elia, precisely. And what we're going to be teaching you today is a magic that takes advantage of that connection. This magic is known as sensory link. Just as the name implies, this is magic that allows the practitioner and the magical beast to share senses, and in this way acquire information. This magic is mainly used to warn the magical beast that the practitioner is in danger. Madam, this is something that conjuration can't accomplish, so it's something unique to slave magic users. Reinhardt, really? Why can't conjurers use this ability? Ryalma, in general, the conjuration contract forcibly makes the magical beast submit through the use of magic. Even if there's a connection, it's one-sided. Reinhardt, so that's how it is. I don't know much about matters concerning conjuration. I see, so that's how it is. Ryalma, there's a need to get used to sensory link. The longer you've been helping each other and the deeper your understanding is with your slave monster, then the clearer the connection will be. Today, we prepared a magical beast inside this bird cage for you too. Contract with it, then we'll have you guys practice. Rainbach, why go all the way to get a new magical beast? Isn't it possible with a slime? Ryalma, true, it's definitely possible to use sensory link with the slimes. However, the effect is hard to grasp and there's no meaning to it. Reinhardt, since slimes don't have nose, ears, and eyes, even if you use sensory link, you won't be able to understand sight, hearing, smell, and even taste. And I also don't know how you're supposed to understand your surroundings with that. Certainly, that would definitely make it hard to understand the effect. I understand. Elia, and so, me and Elia went over to the bird cage and contracted with the magical beast inside, called Crew Bird. Oh, speaking of which, this is my first time contracting with a magical beast other than a slime. When I noticed that, I became a little nervous. But without anything going wrong, the contract ended safely. Looks like you were able to contract them. Then next, become aware of the connection you have between you and your magical beast. Once you've done that, strongly visualize an image where you're looking through the eyes of your magical beast. If you can do that, then even without any incantations, you'll be able to use sensory link. Madam, being told that, I used a camera connected to a TV as my image. When I did so, an image flowed through the back of my head, but somehow it feels kind of unpleasant. Ryalma, the sensation of having both my own field of vision and the magical beast's field of vision go inside my head at the same time is difficult to describe. But it's kind of like being forced to watch two TV screens at the same time while having to understand it. It isn't something that feels very pleasant. Ara, Ryalma-kun, You've already succeeded, madam, as expected of you. This is actually a difficult magic because there are many people who find it difficult to grasp the image. Rainbach. It's difficult, so I wanted to teach it early so you can take your time practicing it. But it looks like you've already managed to learn it. That unpleasant sensation after having just succeeded at sensory link is something that every slave magic user has to go through. You'll manage as long as you practice, so do your best and get used to it. I suggest you start by closing your eyes and focusing only on your slave monster's field of vision. Reinhardt, so I need to get used to it, huh? Just like I was told, I close my eyes and focus only on the field of vision of the magical beast. Yeah, this way is better than a while ago. The crew bird I just contracted with is currently standing on the ground, so the field of vision I'm seeing is extremely low. Because of that, it feels kind of out of place. But that's it. Aside from that, there's no other problem. After that, I continued to practice for 2 hours. In the end, I was also able to order the crew bird to fly, while using sensory link to see through the magical beast while it's in the sky. This ability is quite useful for scanning the surroundings. While I was thinking that, it would appear that Elia had also succeeded at using sensory link. This is a rather unusual feeling. Elia looks like Elia is also feeling that sense of being out of place. I thought this just now, but Elia is quite amazing, huh? I used my experience in Earth to grasp the image, but Elia actually had to start from scratch. Yet she was able to learn it within the day. Amazing. After Elia had succeeded once, we decided to take a short break and Aronsan prepared us some tea. Still, you two did pretty well to be able to actually learn it this fast. Rainbach. Elia carries with her the lineage of Jamal, so I thought it'd be fast. But who would have thought that it would actually be to this extent? I also thought Ryamakun would have a hard time with it, but, Reinhardt, isn't it fine? Like this, they were able to learn it easily without any problems. Now all that's left is to train. Madam, so that feeling is going to continue, huh? Elia looks like. Even with her eyes closed, Elia still finds it difficult to get used to that feeling. Well, you are suddenly having your vision changed and mixed, after all. It's still fine for me who thinks it's like watching television, but Elia is seeing things as if it's actually her own field of vision. Even if I teach her, she doesn't know about TVS, so she won't understand. I can't teach her. Do your best, Elia. As we continued to discuss like that, the madam asked me this. Ryamakun, how's your first time contracting with a magical beast other than a slime? Does anything feel off? Madam, there isn't anything in particular. Ryalma, then in that case, Ryalma might also have an aptitude for bird-type magical beasts. Madam, aptitude, what's she talking about? What's an aptitude? Ryalma, the one who answered that question was Reinhardt-san. You didn't know? Slave magic users and conjurers all have their own respective aptitudes. What kind of magical beast one should tame depends on the individual, and whether he should contract a lot of magical beasts or not. Then there are also those who can't contract with a lot of magical beasts, but are able to contract with several very powerful magical beasts. Ryamakun's aptitude with slimes is probably quite high. Otherwise, I don't think you'd be able to contract that many magical beasts. Reinhardt, after you find out what your aptitude is, it's important to make sure what kind of magical beast you're suited for. Aptitude isn't strictly decided, it's something you have to vaguely understand by probing within yourself. For example, I have good aptitude with magical beasts that have scales. And while I can't contract with a lot of magical beasts, my magical beasts are individually strong. Rainbach. As for me, I have an aptitude for magical beasts that walk on 4 legs. On the other hand, I have absolutely zero aptitude for magical beasts of the bird type. And so, I can't contract with those. Reinhardt, my aptitude is, Madam, as the madam said that, she suddenly chanted an incantation. As she did so, light began to radiate from her side, and all of the sudden, a wolf with silver fur appeared. I was slightly taken aback by that, but the madam laughed and said that it was all right. Sorry for scaring you. This child is Rogue, my little Fenrir slave monster. Madam Fenrir. Isn't that thing that comes out in legends? Ara, did you perhaps think that the Fenrir and a little Fenrir were the same? Madam, are they different? Ryalma, they are. Fenrir is a divine beast, but a little Fenrir is a magical beast. Little Fenrirs are wolf-type magical beasts that can use a little bit of ice magic, but it's true that they're quite strong. Madam, so that's how it is. Ryalma, little Fenrirs are amazing, and the madam too, for being able to actually win it over. Right now that amazing little Fenrir is being caressed by the madam, and as if the madam's foot felt good, it began to turn over to its side. This child is the boss of its pack. I have 20 more little Fenrirs, and then I still have around 100 other wolf-type magical beasts. I can do this since my aptitude with wolf-type magical beasts is good. Madam, 20 more beasts like this little Fenrir. While it can't compare to the number of slimes I have, its quality is too different. And it's at a different league compared to the black bear's intimidating aura. It's because Elize is really skillful as a slave magic user. You normally can't make a little Fenrir obey you just like that, you know. In fact, when I first met Elize in the past, I actually suffered from an inferiority complex. Reinhardt, Aura, is that really true? Weren't you going around saying, I have my sword, and without minding it, zealously tempered your sword arm? Also, I don't recall you having such a lack of talent for slave magic. Madam, if you compare me to you or to my father, I end up getting completely overshadowed. Reinhardt, even then, you don't really need to mind it that much. To begin with, as a kid, you always neglected your training as a slave magic user, and was always fussing over your sword training instead. So tell me, are you still going to imply that it's my fault? Rainbach afterwards, Rainbach-sama kept finding fault after fault with Reinhardt-san as he gave him a sermon. While listening to that, I looked at that little Fenrir called Rogue as I thought to myself, the madam can make 20 and 100 of these wolf-type magical beasts submit. For Rainbach-sama to be considered at the same level as her, isn't that amazing? No, it's definitely amazing. While I was thinking that, Elia called out to me, Ryalma-san, what are you thinking about? Elia, I just thought that Rainbach-sama was pretty amazing, considering he's actually on the same level as the madam. Ryalma, when Elia heard that, she smiled. I wonder if it's because her family was praised. But when the madam beside me heard my words, she denied it. Ryalma-kun, you're a little off there. Father-in-law and I are not of the same level. Father-in-law is in fact on a level higher than me. Madam, really? Ryalma, that's right. I may have more slave monsters, but father-in-law's slave monsters are on a different level. He may not even have 20 of them, but if the Adventurers Guild were to put up a subjugation request for those, each one of those magical beasts would be classified as an A-rank magical beast. In fact, half of his slave monsters are dragons. Madam, dragons. Ryalma, I may have never seen a dragon, but I know that having close to 10 dragons is something dangerous. Moreover, all of them possess the power of a magical beast that's a rank up. And for one person to actually possess all that, that's overkill. Isn't Rainbach-sama an even bigger cheat than I am? What's the matter with dragons? Rainbach asked Rainbach-sama when he heard my voice. I heard about Rainbach-sama's slave monsters just now. Amazing. To think that Rainbach-sama would be able to tame several dragons. Ryalma, in my case, I was just lucky. I may have also had the aptitude for it, but starting out with a dragon was really strong. I collected those kind of dragons and I made them my slave monsters. As allies they're quite reassuring, but I can't call them out for petty things, otherwise it would cause a huge commotion. Rainbach, well, that's true. Moreover, I'm nothing compared to the founder of slave magic, Shiho Jamal-sama. From what I'd heard, the founder didn't have any restrictions on the number of contracts that could be possessed. Moreover, the founder had an aptitude for all magical beasts and was able to contract any kind of beast, regardless of how strong or how hard they were to tame. And according to the records, the number of slave monsters the founder had couldn't be counted. Rainbach by founder, he's referring to an otherworlder, right? Then in that case, isn't the reason she was able to do that because of her cheats? Although, from what I'd heard from Gain and the others, she seemed to be a nice person. For someone like me who understands that, I'm more interested in what Rainbach-sama's dragons normally do, rather than any story about the founder. That Shiho-sama seems to be an amazing person, huh? By the way, what do Rainbach-sama's slave monsters normally do? Ryalma, they're staying in a mountain within my territory. It's a dangerous mountain because the magical beasts there are too strong. With no one coming there, I had them stay there while preventing the monsters from going down to human settlements. Rainbach, I see. Ryalma, slave magic users that possess powerful magical beasts have an inclination to have a problem with finding a place for those beasts to stay. So in the future, when you tame a powerful magical beast and find it difficult to find a home for it, just let us know, okay, Rainbach. Thank you very much. Ryalma, when I run out of space in my space magic, I'll talk to them about it. Volume 2, Chapter 20, The Man Picked Up by the Gods, Volume 2, Chapter 20 TL Note. For the early birds, I had to repost this several times because of an error, so my apologies if a blank page greeted you a while ago. Here's your first chapter for the day. I'll try to get the extra chapter out, but if you don't see it within the next 4 hours, then it's not coming today. Also, the founder of slave magic is a woman. I forgot about it, and the last chapter didn't have any pronouns, so I just went with the default pronouns. I'll change the wordings to reflect that. Volume 2, Chapter 20, our break ended, and we resumed the training, or so I thought we would, but apparently our training for the day is already over. It's because you two have already learned how to use Sensory Link, so all that's left is for you two to practice on your own time. That's why, Ryalma-kun, right now you should just leisurely spend your time while you listen to Elia's performance. You might think that it's just because we're doting parents, but Elia's performance is actually really good. Reinhardt, performance. Why all of the sudden, Ryalma, what's going on? Do you remember the discussion we had regarding the Rimmel birds? Madam, yes, it's the objective of everyone who comes here, right? Ryalma, that's right. After all, Rimmel birds are agile and have the ability to use wind magic. But because of that, it's difficult to catch one without hurting it. As a result, it's very rare to see one. But the Rimmel birds are a magical beast after all, so it can be tamed. Madam, I see. Since it's possible, it makes one want to tame it. But then, what does that have to do with Elia's performance? Then, does the performance have anything to do with that? Ryalma, it has plenty to do with it. If you want to tame a Rimmel bird, then music is a must. Madam, really, I thought, at which Sebasu-san explained. A Rimmel bird possesses a sizable amount of magic power inside its body, and at the same time it is highly intelligent. Because of that, if you try to tame it normally, it will simply resist, and you won't be able to contract it. However, a Rimmel bird is very sensitive to sound, and is able to differentiate its friends with a beautiful cry. Taking advantage of that behavior, one can play some music before contracting it, and if it comes to like you, then you'll be able to make a contract with it. This is the most accepted theory when it comes to taming a Rimmel bird. Sebasu has expected of a different world to actually have a method which goes beyond common sense. Seriously, you actually have to play music to tame it. To think that you could actually tame a magical beast that way. I didn't know about that at all. Ryalma, well, the probability of success is extremely low. So because of that, there are many who think this method is fake. However, aside from this, there are no other ways to contract a Rimmel bird. So technically, this is the method with the highest chance of success. Sebasu, with that in mind, Elia will also be performing for the Rimmel bird to try to tame it. That's what the training this afternoon is for. Reinhardt Ryalmasan, please listen to my performance. But don't worry, even if you fall asleep or even if you don't listen, I won't mind. But please don't go back home. Elia, what's going on? If she asked me to listen, then it would have been fine. But she's actually telling me that it's fine even if I don't listen as long as I don't go home. Then all of the sudden, Sebasu-san and the others laughed as they looked at me. Ah, you mean to tell me? Looks like you noticed. Rainbach, it's because you've been working too hard without rest these past few days. So we thought we'd have you rest for a bit. Madam, do you remember when you came to our room when the store was about to be completed? We've been thinking about it a little since then. Ryalma-kun, you made a store right after completing a subjugation request. Then while hiring some employees for your store, you took some requests from the Adventurers Guild. Then, on top of all that, I heard that you've actually been patrolling the abandoned mine and creating waterproof cloths. You haven't been able to properly rest, right? There was even that incident yesterday. You'll most likely become even busier from now on in order to deal with that. So we thought we'd have you rest today under the pretext of training your slave magic. Reinhardt, when we told your employees to let you take rest, they cheerfully agreed. Sebasu, when did you? Ryalma, I didn't notice at all. We'll be properly watching you today, and we definitely won't let you work, Ryalma-kun. Madam, you may not be able to rest your mind like this, but even if it's by force, if you don't rest your body, you might break it. So from now on, even if it's by force, as long as you work like this, I'll be taking you to my house. Rainbach, sorry for making you worry. Ryalma, you may not be overworking yourself, but if a normal person were to continue with the kind of workload you're putting on yourself, they would surely break. You also just might not be aware that you're pushing yourself, so be careful. Reinhardt, so with that in mind, we'll be having Ryalma-san rest today. Then I'll start my performance now. Elia's being unusually pushy today, or maybe she actually normally like this. But then again, I guess you could also say that she's just innocent. While I was thinking that, Elia took a violin from Sebasu-san and started playing. Looks like there's also a violin in this world. Though it's also possible that an otherworlder brought it here. As Elia began to play, I listened. Elia's performance was good, and because it was such a calm tune, I was able to relax. When Elia finished playing, she asked me what I thought of it. Ryalma-san, how was it? Elia, it was good, very much. Ryalma, this isn't flattery. I also used to play a guitar back in my previous life, but I don't think I was able to play it as well she did her violin. Then again, we can't really be compared since the instrument is different. But even though I'm not that acquainted with music, I think her performance was great. I only gave her my simple impressions, but Elia looks happy. And so like that, Elia continued to play, while I enjoyed the amiable company of Rogue and the slimes, caressing them as we passed the time. While I was caressing the 3 slimes I just recently caught, I let them absorb a little bit of my magic power. While I was doing that, one of them reacted, seeing that I couldn't help but exclaim. Because of that, Elia stopped playing and walked over to me, the others too. Ah, it came. Ryalma, what did? Elia, Ryalma-kun, what is it all of the sudden? Reinhardt, what's happening? Rainbach, the slime is evolving. Ryalma, at those words, everyone gathered around the slime I was caressing. That slime was shaking just like that time with the iron slime. Then it stopped, and then it began to release and absorb magic power. When the slime's body began to change color, everyone held their breaths as they curiously stared at the slime. When the slime's body turned light brown, the evolution ended. When I checked the slime with Monster Identify. Earth Slime Skills Earth Magic LV2 Earth Attribute Resistance LV8 Earth Magic Absorption LV1 Jump LV1 Digestion LV3 Absorption LV3 Split LV1 The slime became an Earth Magician. Experiment success. Ryalma-san, what did it turn into? Elia, it became an Earth Slime. A slime that can use earth magic. Ryalma, oh, that's a rare slime. Rainbach. Ryalma-kun, the earth slime is a rare slime. Exactly how were you able to make it evolve like that? Reinhardt, since they asked me like that, I told them. When they heard how to, Elia and the madam tried it out, but they couldn't do it. They weren't able to release magic power while changing its attribute. Whenever they tried to, they ended up casting magic. From the looks of things, in order to release magic power with a different attribute, you need to have the ability to delicately manipulate magic. My magic manipulation skill is at LV4, so it was possible for me, but it wasn't for the madam and the Ajao-sama. Elia, seemingly mortified, stopped practicing her music and began practicing her control of magic. Looks like after she learns the magic manipulation skill, she'll try again. During that time, I fed the other two slimes with magic power, and they also evolved. With this, I have two earth slimes, while the other slime evolved into a dark slime. Dark slime skills: dark magic, LV2 dark attribute resistance, LV8 dark magic absorption, LV1 jump, LV1 digestion, LV3 absorption, LV3 split, LV1. After that, I started caressing the slimes again when I neared my magic power's limit. It was at such a time that for some reason, the crew bird flew and found a herd of horned rabbits. Seeing that, I decided to hunt the horned rabbits and bring them back as thanks to the people from the shop. Reinhardt-san, Elia, and the others also came to help me. I started off by taking out my bow and shooting them. Then I drove them towards where the slimes, Reinhardt-san, and the rest were waiting. Like this, we were able to easily end the hunt. After that, I had the bloody slime drain its blood. Then I asked Elia to freeze it with her ice magic. Next, I put up a barrier and an anti-barrier on a box that Rainbox-sama had made with earth magic. We put the spoils in there, then I hid it in my item box. Speaking of which, I wonder if I should change the name anti-cold barrier into cold retention barrier. After all, since improving the magic, it's already become quite different from before. While I was thinking that, I went back to Elia's group, returned the crew bird into the bird cage, and released the contract. The madam told me that it was fine for me to take it with me, but I politely refused her. It's true that it's convenient, but it's not a problem for me even if I can't see things from the sky. If it does become necessary, I could just catch one myself. After that, it was almost time to go home. But because I used up too much magic power, I ended up falling asleep while on the carriage. When we got back to the lodging, I opened my eyes, but I wonder if it's because I ran out of magic power. Or maybe I just hadn't noticed it and the fatigue had actually been piling up. In any case, I went back to my room and like that, I retired for the day. Thank you for listening to the story on KevinAudio.com Volume 2, Chapter 21 TL Note. Here's your second and last chapter of the day. This chapter was made possible by all the Anons that have donated. Thank you, Anons. Karma Karm Volume 2, Chapter 21. The next day, I went to the store before opening time. Good morning, everyone. Ryalma, good morning, boss. Carm and Carla, good morning, everyone else. Thank you for yesterday. Thanks to you guys, I was able to rest well. Ryalma, that's great. Marie, overworking is bad for your health, so please take care of yourself. Carla, boss, you're working too hard, you know. When we heard how much you've been working, we were shocked. Lai Ling, you actually built this store in 10 days. That's just crazy. If you keep up that pace, you'll die early, you know. Faye, I'll be careful. Ryalma, please do so. Carla, even if the boss acts like an adult, he's still a kid after all. Jean, even if you're an adult, it's not good to push yourself. Fina, looks like I caused my employees to worry. But actually, thanks to them being here, I didn't push myself that much. Still, I'm grateful that they were worried over me. Because of that, I was quite happy, and so I gave them my thanks. Then I headed to the kitchen. Selma-san, are you here? Is there anything you need, boss? Selma, when I got to the kitchen, the only cook of this store, Selma, was there. Our cook seems to be making some kind of soup. Seeing me, Selma-san stopped stirring and walked towards me. Yesterday, I rested and I went out of the town for a bit. During that time, I managed to hunt some game, and so I thought I'd bring those back as souvenirs. I drained its blood right after killing it, then I froze it, so its quality should be good. Ryoma, as I said that, I took out the meat from my item box. My, thank you very much. This is horn rabbit, right? Please put this in the fridge for now. I'll serve it to everyone during lunch. Selma, thank you. Ryoma, as I said that, I went to put all of the meat in the fridge. Ara, there's quite a lot, huh, Selma? It's because I was able to spot a herd of them. Ryoma, I'm really glad that we have this refrigerator. It's really convenient. Selma, really? I mean, it certainly is convenient, but Ryoma, I have to put up the barrier once every day, so it's actually quite annoying. If I became better at barrier magic, then the duration of the barrier would also increase, but well, it is better now than when I'd first using it, where each barrier only lasted for an hour. It is. It's really convenient. Normally, when there's an ingredient that I won't be able to use immediately, I'd be left with no option other than to just throw it away. Vegetables are one thing, but as for meat, I really have to throw them away immediately. It's easy for it to go bad during hot days and summer, but then there's also the fact that it's to get sick from it. But with this refrigerator, even if I have plenty of ingredients, even if it's meat, I can put them away and use them for tomorrow. Like this, not only will I not waste food, we can also save money. Selma, now that you mention it. When I was in the forest, I hunted when I needed to eat, and before the excess meat went bad, I gave them to the slimes. So I guess I forgot about that. Ryoma, the slimes are also quite convenient. They eat the trash and the bones for me. They've really helped me a lot. Selma, we chatted like that for a bit, then I put up the barrier for the fridge again. After which, I left the kitchen. When I got out, Carla-san seemed to have some business with me as she called me. You want to increase the number of employees. Ryoma, the current number is enough for now, but when our branches start to increase, we'll have a problem if we only start raising new employees then. At the very least, couldn't we start raising up a manager, or someone who will become a key player in the store? Carla, that's true. I don't have any objections regarding that. In the end, I'll have to leave it to Carm-san and the others to raise new employees. But the thing is, in our store the biggest problem is the slave magic user. To our store, cleaner slimes are indispensable, which means slave magic users are also needed. So the problem is, how are we going to hire a trustworthy slave magic user who won't run off with the slimes or smuggle them? Ryoma, normally you'd go to the Tamer Guild for that, but right now the Tamer Guild is a suspect, so, Carla, right, regarding that, there hasn't been any problem, has there? Ryoma, none. No one has come since then, but I don't think they're going to give up after just one failure. Carla, for the meantime, let's be careful. I'll try thinking about the slave magic user. As for your side, I don't mind if you add some people you appraise highly. Ryoma, thank you very much. Carla, after that, I left the store and decided to go to the abandoned mine. On the way, I met Jeff-san. Today, he isn't wearing any armor and he also doesn't have his spear with him. He walked over to where I am while he stuffed his cheeks with skewered meat. Is it his day off? Gulp, isn't that Ryoma? Jeff, good morning. Jeff-san, is it your day off today? Ryoma, I'm just tired because I've been fighting every day. Are you working today? Jeff, I'm going to the abandoned mine to run my rounds. Ryoma, by abandoned mine, you mean the place where we hunted? Jeff, yes. I've become the manager of that place. So I have to patrol it at fixed intervals and make sure that no magical beasts are making a nest out of it. Ryoma, you were doing a job like that. You're an adventurer, a laundromat, and a manager, aren't you busy? Jeff, well, I've already left the laundromat to my employees, so I don't have anything to do right now. I can also rest freely as an adventurer, and it's not like I actually have to act as a manager for the mine every day. So until the store expands, I won't be busy. Ryoma, then I guess it's fine, but oh right, want some, I'll treat you. As Jeffson said that, he took out his bag of skewered meat. Then I'll take one stick, mn. Ryalma, when I took a bite, what I tasted wasn't herb or salt, but rather the stinging taste of seasoned meat. In this world, things like sugar and spices are expensive. Because of that, salt is generally the only ingredient used to make food taste better. But this is delicious. It feels like it's lacking in some parts, but nevertheless, this is good. It's delicious. Ryalma, right? I bought it from that cart over there. They used a little bit of spice, so it's a little expensive, but it's delicious. There's a plaza over there, so go take a seat and try tasting some. I followed Jeffson and entered a side street. The place we went to was a plaza with a bench and a well. I took a seat on the bench as I observed the area. It's kind of like a park. Didn't you just start a new store? And now you're already thinking of starting another one. Jeff, it's because the guild master of the merchant guild and my employees told me to think about it. It's not like I'm planning to start one right away. Besides, there are some problems. Ryalma, what? Is there something bothering you? Jeff, the new shop is going to be at a different town. Because of that, I'll end up having to travel frequently. But in order to make my store, it's important for there to be someone who can manage the slimes. Ryalma, that's not something you should worry about. Just go the Tamer Guild. Jeff, well, the guild master of the Tamer Guild seems to be hostile to me, so he might do something strange. In fact, there were some thugs who were paid to make a mess in my store. The guard I employed managed to stop them, but we think the one who hired those thugs is the guild master of the Tamer Guild. Ryalma, did you do something bad? Jeff, nothing in particular. I just went to register with the Duke family's young lady, and so from the looks of things, he dislikes me for having a close relationship with the Duke's household, despite me being like this. Ryalma, so it's that kind of guy. Those kinds who brandish their position and connections are such a pain. Jeff, indeed. Moreover, he's the kind of guy who doesn't care about people below him. Putting it bluntly, he's not someone who can be trusted. There's no way I'd hire someone from the guild of a man like that. Ryalma, as I said that, I bit into my skewered meat. Jeffson finished his own set, and as he brought out a second set, he said this. Then in that case, I have a suggestion. Jeff, really? Ryalma, yeah. I'm not good at stuff that involves one's head, as I can't do anything else aside from fighting. Because of that, I can't help you out when it comes to business and stuff, but when it comes to people, then that's a different story. If you don't want to hire someone from the Tamer Guild, then how about hiring someone from the slums? Jeff, someone from the slums, huh? Ryalma, that's right. The people from the slums are poor, but it's not like they can't do anything. I'm also someone who used to be from the slums, but I'm living as an adventurer now, right? In the same way, I know many people who can use slave magic. There are all sorts in the slums. There are people who are useless, and then there are also those who are too skilled, was conspired against and ended up in the slums. Isn't it fine if you hire those kind of guys? This town is a mining town, so there are more jobs here compared to other towns. So, while it's not possible to live comfortable, people aren't being driven into a corner either. Because of that, there aren't many who would commit a crime. And there are actually plenty who can be considered decent people. And more than anything, these people have a strong sense of camaraderie with those who have also come from the slums. Unless you do what the public office did and try to drive down the salary, I don't think they'll betray you. The people of the slum also want a stable life. That's why, if you want to hire, then you can hire immediately. As for whether you can form a trusting relationship, well, that depends on you. Jeff, is this what you call having the scales fall from your eyes? Now that he mentions it, the guild is more of something like an agency. As long as you have an intermediary, then it doesn't matter. I can look for people by myself and put them through the merchant guild instead. Try thinking about it. Once you've made up your mind, I'll act as your middleman. Even till now, my face is still useful around the slums, you know. Jeff, thank you very much. I'll think about it. Ryalma, as I said that, I finished eating my skewered meat. I give my thanks to Jeffson and head towards the abandoned mine. On the way, I thought about the discussion we just had. It's not bad, right? Rainbock-sama also employed the slum people to clean the latrine pits. So at the very least, they're not unhireable, and there's also the possibility that there might be someone trustworthy there. While I was thinking that, I reached the abandoned mine. I immediately set off to start the production of waterproof cloths. I didn't have any problem even with 50, so I guess I can do 70 today. I fix the cloth on the workbench, then I leave it to the sticky slimes. When that ended, I started the training. The sticky slimes, poison slimes, acid slimes, and scavenger slimes are all fine, but it doesn't seem like the bloody slime is made for combat. Because its body is closer to liquid than the others, its attacks have absolutely no power behind it. It doesn't have any abilities for fighting either. And because its movements are so slippery, its first movement is fast, so it looks like it can at least run, but is this something to be happy about? For the meantime, I guess I'll spend some time observing it. Ryalma then, there's the metal slime and the iron slime. They're both hard, but because I've only just recently tamed them, they're still not able to move their bodies well. Turning their body into a tentacle also seems to be impossible for them. If they were able to, then I could have made them harden along with it and do all sorts of things, but yeah, I guess I'll also have to spend some time with these guys. As for the earth slimes and the dark slime, they're all able to use magic. The earth slimes can use rock, break rock, and a currently still weak earth needle. As for the dark slime, it can cause its surrounding to become darker with darkness, and it can also shoot out a ball of darkness with dark ball. It's something I rarely use, but it's a kind of magic that sucks out one's life force. Even if you say suck, though, it won't replenish your life. The magic that can accomplish that is a mid-level magic called drain. These guys also move like normal slimes. So I'll have them train their magic, then I'll have them train their movements a bit afterwards. I guess I could let them take the role of a gunner. It's also essential to have some live combat experience when using attack magic, so yeah, these guys will also take some time. I've already confirmed that the earth slimes can use rock and break rock, so I guess I'll try teaching them create block. As I tried to teach them that, they were able to do it after several tries. I was a bit surprised at their learning speed, but I think it's good that they learn fast. As for the dark slime, I guess I'll have it practice the dark ball. I'm also not that well versed at dark magic, so I guess I'll train alongside it. After that, while letting the cloths dry, I trained with the earth slimes, and at the same time, we also made some building stones. I had the newly made building stones be carried into a tunnel for safekeeping. I'll use them when I make a house next time. And then, just like usual, when the cloths finished drying, I retrieved it and left. When I got back to the lodging, I visited the Duke's room. "Welcome, Ryalma-san. Aaliyah, you came. Rainbock, is there something?" "Reinhardt, there was something I wanted to discuss for a bit." "Ryalma, oh, what is it?" "Rainbock, I talked about what I discussed today with Jeffson. Hearing that, they seemed to think it wasn't a bad idea. I don't mind if you hire the slum people. That is, if you can trust them. But then you do have an intermediary, so as long as that guy is trustworthy, then I don't think there'll be any problem." Rainbock, even if it's a little like this, the slum's job prospects will also increase, so I'm a little happy. Only I think it's better if you stick with the guild. It may not be illegal, but because of how money you're making, it wouldn't be strange for people to try to find some dirt on you. At that time, the less holes you have, the better. Reinhardt, that's certainly true. But could I pass it through the merchant guild instead of the tamer guild? Ryalma, as I said that, pondering, the madam smiled at me and said this. "Don't worry, it's fine. After all, even though you're also registered as a slave magic user, you're also registered as a merchant, right? Moreover, this might be poor of me to say, but the people of the slum are most likely people who wouldn't accept jobs from the tamer guild. Just like Ryalma-kun, they too only have weak slave monsters. Even if they try to tame a stronger magical beast, they can't. Otherwise, they'd be able to get jobs from the Tamer Guild, and that would allow their lifestyle to improve. It's also normal for them to look for jobs that aren't related to slave magic, so there shouldn't be any room for criticism. Madam, precisely. Still, I think it's better if you talk with the guild master of the Merchant Guild first. That way everything can proceed without a hitch. Rainbach, that's true. All right. Then, I'll go to the Merchant Guild tomorrow. Ryalma, with that, we came to a conclusion. After that, I drank some black tea for a while I asked them about the Tamer Guild's criterion. Then afterwards, I left the room. Apparently, the current Tamer Guild considers the power of the magic beast that the slave magic user has contracted to be a representation of that magician's skill. So it doesn't seem like they're actually looking at actual abilities. All they're looking at is the division of the magical beast's strength by referencing something that somewhat resembles an illustration book. Moreover, regardless of how many you contract, as long as it's something weak like a slime, then they won't value it. That is to say, 0 is 0 no matter how many times you multiply it. All in all, what this means is that, as long as you're able to contract with a strong beast, then you're an expert at slave magic. If you can't do that, then you're bad at slave magic. Of course, I also understand that there are people like the Duke's household, who don't only judge a slave magic user's ability on that alone. But then, there's also the fact that it takes time to train and figure out a way to use your slave monster, whereas if you just tamed a powerful slave monster instead, then even if you don't train much, you'll be able to easily gain strength. It would appear that that kind of thinking has become popular in recent years. Matthew is a typical man who thinks like that, and after gaining some influence, it would appear that he's become rather wicked. Before I went back to my room, they emphasized to me the need to be careful of Matthew. If they only had some proof of his wrongdoings, then they'd be able to do something, but without any evidence it becomes really difficult. Really, these guys are always saving me. I'm really grateful. Volume 2, Chapter 22 TL Note. Karma Karm. I misread it, sorry, haha. Speaking of which, I wonder if Fuckmatthew is going to be a thing now. Volume 2, Chapter 22, the next day I went to the store and talked to Karmsan and Carlasan regarding the discussion yesterday. After that, I headed to the Merchant Guild and was again brought to the reception room. It happens every time, so I've already gotten used to it. You need more people again, Grisla, yes, but there's also something I wanted to consult to you about. Ryalma, what is it? Grisla, I explained the situation. So the dimwit has his eye on you, has he? Grisla, you know Matthew. Ryalma, but of course. He is, after all, the guild master of this town's Tamer Guild. So it can't be helped that I sometimes have to meet him, not that I enjoy seeing him, mind you. That guy's someone who got drunk on his own power and can't do anything else except suck up to influential people. Aside from that, the only other things he's good at are working his subordinates and making excuses. That guy believes in money and power. Seeing you with the Duke, he probably sees you as someone who is trying to curry favor. Like that, if you go hire some people from the Tamer Guild, it won't do you any good. Grisla, so it really is as I'd expected. Ryalma, no question about it. Hiring people from the slum is a good idea. That guy treats the slave magic users from the slum as a bunch of no good, so even if he wants to, he won't be able to stop them. Even if they're affiliated with the guild, they should be being treated poorly. If it's people like that, then at the very least they won't try to help Matthew, right? If you find someone you think is trustworthy, take them with you. You won't have any problems with the legal process. Besides, it's not really a crime or anything. Grisla, in that case, I'll do as you've suggested. Thank you very much. Ryalma, yeah, do your best. Grisla, as I stood up from the sofa and was about to leave, she said this. Ryalma, go take your seat again, I forgot to tell you something. Grisla, what is it? Ryalma, I said as I sat again. I investigated a bit about the thugs who came to your store. I was able to find out that they were hired by someone, but unfortunately, I couldn't find out who. There's the possibility that the Dark Guild is involved, so be careful. Grisla Dark Guild, in other words, a criminal group, right? Is the Dark Guild a gathering of assassins and thieves? Ryalma, yes. The Dark Guild takes dirty requests and give them to their members. The contents of their job are illegal, so naturally they're an illegal organization. But they don't just commit crimes, they also provide the tools. Because they'll do anything, there are quite a lot who give them requests. They're a group that specializes in killing, so be careful. Grisla, I understand. Thank you for warning me. Ryalma, don't mind it. Grisla, as the guild master, said that she sent me off and I left the guild. I was planning to go to the mine next, but then I happened by someone I didn't want to meet. That guy was standing by the side of a luxurious carriage when he saw me. Seeming irritated, he called out to me in a strained voice. Bastard, what are you doing here? Matthew, this is the main street. Isn't it normal for people to pass by here? Branch head Matthew. Ryalma, who would have thought that we'd end up meeting here in the road like this? I see he's still as annoying as ever, though, but this is different from before. Last time I was with the Duke, so he hid it, but now that I'm all alone, he's openly showing his aggression. HMPH, a dimwit like you shouldn't be calling me so familiarly, by the way. I heard you started a strange store. Matthew, he knows about the store. Is it him? Did he really send the thugs? It seems you're using slimes, but a talentless dimwit like you who has only been able to tame slimes, despite being a slave magic user for 3 years, isn't fit to be called a slave magic user. Moreover, your slimes are a new race, and they eat dirt. HMPH. Not only do you have a bunch of useless beasts, the only things those things are capable of is making themselves dirtier. Matthew, as he kept insulting me like that, I ended up remembering the time when I registered. Because of that, I became even more annoyed. It doesn't matter what I say to a guy like this. It'd just fall on deaf ears. Seriously, what a pain in the ass. Still though, for some reason, I just can't find myself getting angry at this guy. I'm slightly pissed off, but I'm able to remain calm. Good grief, you're such an eyesore. Even though your social standing is like that, you actually dare to cajole the Duke. Last time, the young lady of the Duke and his missus defended you, so I had no choice but to let you register. But I can never accept that you're actually a member of my tamer guild. I will absolutely never accept it. Even if you come to the guild, I won't give you a job. To begin with, a dimwit like you who can't tame anything but a slime can't do anything. Ah, you're here. Come. Matthew said the things he wanted to say to me until a young woman wearing a gaudy outfit came. He let her ride his carriage, then he immediately set off. Seriously, what a horrible person to be with. However, he mentioned that slimes and scavenger slimes are useless and unable to do anything else except become dirtier. Does that mean he hasn't noticed their value at all? Wasn't he the one who sent the thugs? Well, whatever. I've changed my mind. I originally wasn't planning to make a fuss regarding the profits, but as revenge for today, I'll go make a killing with those slimes he called worthless. I want to have the issue with the slave magic users solved anyway, so I might as well ask Jeffson now. I decided not to go to the mine, and instead, I decided to head towards the Adventurers Guild. When I got to the guild, I asked where Jeffson was. Apparently he should be going home soon, so I waited by the guild. After 1 hour of waiting, Jeffson arrived. After I saw him finish reporting his request success, I called out to him. Jeffson, Ryalma, hey, if it isn't Ryalma. What's up? Jeff, I wanted to ask for your help regarding our discussion some time ago. Ryalma, oh, that's fast. I thought you'd take more time to make up your mind. Well, if you've decided, then we can go now. Jeff, is it okay? Ryalma, I don't mind. Besides, I was planning to go to the slums today anyway. My house is also close by, so let's go. Jeff, then please take care of me. Ryalma, and so we went to the slums. On the way, we bought some food ingredients. Apparently, these are refreshments for the slum people. Because of the public office, the slum people's income has suffered, and so the people who used to live in the slums are giving those in the slums assistance little by little. After we finished shopping, we carried everything as we walked. Gradually, the presence of people vanished. The kind of building we saw became seedier and seedier, and even the children we saw from time to time wore shabby clothes. When they saw Jeffson, they waved their hands and called out, and Jeffson also responded to them. After that, I just followed them. After a while, we arrived at an old but well-built building that's slightly bigger than the others. "Is Grandpa here?" said Jeff as he lightly knocked on the door. The door opened by itself. I felt some magic power just now, so it's probably the work of magic. "Looks like he's here, let's go in." When we entered, there was an old man, around 60-year-old, with white hair, sitting on a large chair while facing a plain table. The man calmly spoke. "You came again, Jeff. Thank you for always helping us. However, I'm not at an age where you can call me Grandpa, you know? Grandpa, you're plenty old in my opinion." My legs and loins are still fine, so I'm not an old man. But that aside, who's this kid? Did you bring another one you want me to watch over?" "Grandpa, even if he's like this, he's an excellent adventurer, enough to make his own living. He came here to discuss something with you, something that's also beneficial to the slum." "Oh, Grandpa," at those words the man looked at me. "A pleasure to meet you. My name is Ryalma Takebayashi." "Ryalma, you don't need those manners here. I'm Ribble, the boss of Gimyuru's slum. Jeff introduced you, so you're probably trustworthy, but I'll warn you just in case. You can't just do whatever you want here. And if we can maintain a good relationship, then we'll also be grateful to you." The moment he said those words, he gave off a strong aura of intimidation. I guess it's just what you'd expect from a boss. Of course, I also don't want any unnecessary hostility. Ryalma, when I said that, Ribble-san snorted and laughed while broadly grinning. "Looks like you didn't get scared. Good guts, kid. Ribble ain't that obvious. He's someone I acknowledge, you know." "I see. Well, what is that beneficial discussion of yours?" "Ribble, I'll explain." "Ryalma, it's my store, so the one who should talk is me, right?" As I thought that, I explained. "I see. You don't want the Tamer Guild to butt in, so you want to hire some people from the slums. That's certainly beneficial. Since you're going to be providing a place of work and, moreover, salary high enough to make a living, then I don't have any problems. As long as you pay them properly, you can take whoever you want. As for us, it's enough for us to have another person allocating materials and food." Ribble, well, this discussion wrapped up unexpectedly fast. I thought he'd take a referral fee too, but I guess Jeffson's introduction had an effect. In any case, what's important now is to find a trustworthy slave magic user that I can hire. After that, we left Ribble-san's home and went over to an acquaintance of Jeffson who knows how to use slave magic. On the way, Jeffson called over 2 kids and asked them to call someone over. After a while, we arrived at a house. Jeff-san walked over to its door and violently knocked. "Hey, old Calkins, you're here, right? Come out." Right now, Jeff-san looks like a debt collector, as I thought that. The door slammed open, and a thin man, middle-aged man who looks like his withering, came out. He feels like a salary man who just went through his company's restructuring. "Shut up, Jeff. Even if you don't bang on door that much, I can hear you, Calkins. There've been too many times when I called you and you didn't come out. Jeff, it's your fault since you had to come while I was in the middle of my research." Calkins: "Like hell it is." Jeff, "What could someone like you who has never researched understand? Researching is like diving into a deep sea of thought, and just like bubbles, you have to pursue the ideas before they disappear. There's no way I'd have the free time to deal with other things during that." Calkins: "It's because you don't think about other things like that that you ended up bankrupt because of your fruitless research." Jeff: "Ugu, there's nothing I can say to that. Forget it. What's your business?" Calkins: "I came here to bring you a job offer as a slave magic user." When the man named Calkins heard that, his eyes twinkled. "A job, me? A job as a slave magic user. Calkins, yeah, the boss is Ryoma over here. Jeff, at those words, Calkins finally noticed me. A pleasure to meet you. My name is Ryoma Takebayashi. Ryoma, excuse me, I showed you something unsightly. Are you the client, moreover the client who wants me as a slave magic user? Calkins, for the meantime, let us inside, old man. Jeff, at Jeffson's words, Calkins scratched his head as realization hit him. Entering the house, the atmosphere became gloomy. The house had one room, with one magic stone for light, and one cloth at a corner which is probably used as an alternative to a proper futon. Without even a chair, we had to talk while sitting on the ground. And, what kind of work do you want me to do? It's sad, but unfortunately, I can't really call myself exceptional as a slave magic user. And since I can't tame strong magical beasts, I didn't have a choice but leave that line of work and become a researcher instead. In other words, I'm just a guy obsessed with his research. I really don't know if I can meet your expectations since it seems you want me as a slave magic user. I think I could do something if it's research though. Calkins, research? What kind of research? Ryoma, when I said that, he replied like this in a self-depreciating manner. It's the theme of the last research I was given at the place I worked at a long time ago. It has to do with slimes. Calkins, slime. Really? Ryoma, yeah, but without any results, I ended up getting fired. Although more than 10 years had already passed, I still have some lingering affection for it and am still. Why are your eyes sparkling? Calkins, while Calkins was feeling worthless, he couldn't help but ask that when he saw my expression. You know, when people hear that I'm researching slimes, I normally get thought of as an idiot, you know. Even in the lab, you get treated as someone who isn't doing anything. In fact, it's the kind of job the higher-ups give you when they want to get rid of you. It was like that for me. So why is it that your eyes are sparkling? Calkins, because I'm also a researcher, and I research slimes. Ryoma, what? Calkins, after that, we were speechless for a moment as we stared into each other's eyes. Then eventually we grasped each other's hands and exchanged a hard handshake. Comrade, Calkins, senpai, Ryoma, what just happened in those few seconds? Jeff, just now something like this. Ryoma, an outsider, wouldn't understand. It's the kind of happiness that researchers feel when they meet another researcher who is researching the same topic that they are. Calkins, true, I definitely don't get it. Jeff, at this point we suddenly heard a knock. There's another customer, today's pretty noisy, huh? Calkins stood up and went to the door to open it. When he did so, there were two people, a man and a woman, standing there. Calkins-san. We heard that if we went here we would be able to get a job. Is it true? Woman, I didn't think a job as a slave magic user would actually come, so I quickly came. Man, Robelia, Tony, so you were also informed. That's right, a client who's looking for slave magic users came. Moreover, he's a comrade of ours. Calkins, comrade. Robelia, you mean to say, Tony, for the meantime, come in. Calkins, as Calkins, Sand said that, he pulled the two inside, then closed the door. After that, I greeted the two and introduced myself to them. First, the man amongst the two is currently 23 years old. Apparently, he is an exceptional slave magic user, but because of jealousy, his boss and his colleagues took advantage of his honest nature and pushed the scandal and failure of an experiment to him. With him taking responsibility, he ended up demoted. He was then ordered to research slimes, and after not being able to bring results, he was fired. I asked him why he's not taking other jobs when he's so exceptional, but it turns out he's also being watched by Matthew and is being kept from taking jobs. Matthew used the Tamer Guild's network and destroyed his reputation as a slave magic user by telling others of his incompetence. Because of that, he wouldn't able to get a job as a slave magic user even if he went to another town. He is currently a day laborer at a mine. As for the woman, her name is Robelia and she's 25 years old. She became a researcher for the same reason Calkins, Sand became one. But then she was sexually harassed by a superior, And because she had solely been pursuing research, she was not accustomed to men, causing her to accidentally spur her slave monsters. Her slave monsters weren't strong, so at most they were just threatening. Only they ended up cutting her superior. That superior played innocent and demoted Robelia, where she was then made to research slimes. After some time she was fired. Currently she works at a brothel 3 times a week. After that, I introduced myself and talked about the details of the job. When they heard that, their eyes sparkled. By the way, while I was explaining to them, I brought a cleaner slime from my dimension home to show them. Actually, in order to keep myself clean, I always keep a cleaner slime with me in my dimension home. I first showed them the cleaner slime's shower. Then, having shown them that it's safe, I let them try it out next. Who would have thought that there would be a slime like this? This kind of slime really suits a laundromat. By the way, do you mind if I research during my free time? Calkins. We'll make those guys who look down on slime research take back their words. Robelia. Matthew still hasn't realized the value of this, right? To have this opportunity to be able to shock that Matthew. Let me do it. No, please let me do it. Tony, please let us work for you. All 3 of them having been told that with enough vigor to make me back of a bit. These guys will definitely not turn on me for Matthew. If it's like this, I think I can trust them. Although now I'm kind of hesitant to hire them for a different reason, but whatever. To begin with, I really shouldn't speak for others, and besides, they won't betray me, so isn't it fine? Also, they kind of have the same objective as me, who wants the views of those who look down on slimes. But the only ones I can fully trust right now are Carlasan and the others. Should I have them watch over these guys? But rather than that, is it all right with your jobs? Ryalma, I don't have any job right now. I already finished my contract a few days ago, and I don't know when the next job is coming, so I'm actually a bit troubled. Calkins, as for me, I'm originally a day laborer, so I don't have any problems. Tony, regarding my work at the brothel, all it takes for me to end it is a few words. And even though I call it a brothel, all I'm really doing is borrowing the place and paying them a part of my income. There's no other contract. Robelia, then can you 3 compute? Ryalma, of course we can do it. All 3 of them. Then in that case, please come work for me at my store. The location of the second store hasn't been decided yet, so for the moment, please work to learn the ropes. What should we do for your lodging? Are you guys going to live here, or would you like to live at the store? Ryalma, live at your store. All 3 of them. Then we'll do that. I have something I want to talk to you guys regarding the store. Jeffson, is there a clothes shop somewhere around here? Ryalma, these guys' clothes are too shabby. Even if I have the cleaner slimes clean them, the holes won't be fixed. If they work like this, I'll be troubled. And in this world, uniforms aren't used except for high-class stores. Most stores just generally use civilian clothes. My store is the same. So because of that, I had Jeffson and Robeliasan go to a nearby clothes shop to buy several clothes. For Robelia, while it wasn't anything extravagant, she did have some clothes that could be used for work. However, because it wasn't the kind of attire that you'd wear in a laundromat, I still had her go buy some. No one else was privy to women's work clothes, so we had to let her choose for herself. During that time, I went to the town and let Carmsan know that I'd already decided on the new hires Volume 2, Chapter 23. After coming back from the store, I met up with Calkins, San and the others who have already changed their clothes. Then I'll be going now. Jeff, thank you very much, Jeff-san. Ryalma, I told you, don't mind it. I'll see you around. Jeff, seeing that I'd arrived, Jeff-san left since his job was already completed. I give my thanks to Jeff-san and bow my head. Then I take Calkins, San and the others with me to the Merchant Guild. When we got there, as expected, we were brought to the reception room where the guild master received us. These guys are your new hires, Grisla. Yes, they were introduced to me by an acquaintance of mine. Ryalma, as usual, you really work fast. Didn't you only discuss this with me yesterday? Well, that kind of thing is good for a merchant. So you guys are planning to work at this kid's store, right? Grisla. Yes. Calkins, Robelia, Tony, the guild master looked at the three of them when she heard their reply. I have a feeling she was somewhat taken aback. Ho ho, Ryalma, what trick did you pull? I can feel some kind of strange ambition from them. With that, I don't think they'll be turning on you. Rather, they're more likely to work hard for you. In any case, it doesn't feel like you just met today. Grisla, well, yeah. After all three of them were former slime researchers. And with them understanding the value of the cleaner slimes, they value me quite highly despite my age. At the same time, they also have their grudge. So not only are they happy because of having the possibility of clearing that grudge, but the salary they will be receiving will allow them to live a stable life. So although we haven't known each for long, it would appear that they've already taken quite a liking to me. Especially Tony, who, like me, is being watched by Matthew. The reasons aside, since there's no problem, I was able to receive the guild master's permission and was able to register the three. Afterwards, I properly made a contract that left the cleaner slimes in their care, but prohibited them from handing it over to others. They used a special kind of paper, normally only used for big deals, to create the contract. While it isn't not something special that uses magic, it is strictly monitored by the guild, so it's not possible to make forgeries or to transfer ownership. In cases where someone is found guilty, the punishment is harsher than normal. An exception to this is in the instance where I have a new store. As long as they have my permission, then they will be able to assign another to be in charge of that store as a slave magic user. After all, if I don't do this, then I won't be able to increase my branch stores. I finish the rest of the legal process, then I leave the guild with the three as I give my thanks to the guild master. When we got to the store, I introduced them to Karmsan and the others. And then, I immediately had them start working a little. According to what I've heard along the way, apparently Calkins, San is a former noble. Because of that, he had a somewhat arrogant tone when speaking. I decided to have him carry the laundries. I had Tony do the same, since he had a strong physique from his work as a day laborer in the mine. Robelia-san has experience interacting with people directly because of her job, so I had her work as a receptionist just like she did in her previous job. It was quite sudden, but she seemed to do just fine. Or rather, aren't the adventurers that are coming being bewitched? Her attire isn't particularly revealing, so I guess it's not related to that. But then, I guess what you see isn't everything. Anyway, from the looks of things, those bewitched adventurers will probably become regulars soon. Which reminds me, the girls I've hired are all pretty. Then again, the level of the people in this world might just generally be higher when it comes to appearance. After all, I haven't met someone ugly yet, and even the older ones have aged well. While I was thinking that, I suddenly heard a loud voice. This voice, Rapin-san. Isn't it Calkins? Why are you here, D'Aru? Rapin. That manner of talking, Rapin. Calkins, eh? Rapin-san and Calkins-san were acquaintances. You two are acquaintances. Ryalma, I was in the process of carrying some laundry, so I asked that question while carrying some with me. Why, yes. Rapin-san was a former colleague of mine. Calkins were co-workers who joined our magical beast research lab on the same year. I stopped working after a few years, but who would have thought that we'd end up meeting here? Calkins, when did you come to this town? Rapin, it looked like it's going to be a bit complicated, so I took them to the store's reception room. After Calkins-san explained the situation, Rapin-san sighed deeply. I didn't expect that you'd actually been living in this town before me, D'Aru. I thought for sure that you just arrived. Rapin, I also didn't think that you'd be in this town. I thought that you'd be bustling about different towns now, chasing after all kinds of magical beasts. Calkins, even if I did go around towns, I'd still need to have a town I could consider my base. Still, to meet like this is really an amazing coincidence. Rapin, I also thought that we'd never meet again. I've always thought that it would have been better if I accepted your proposition to leave the research lab. Calkins, I did tell you, Arrow, that even if the two of us can do research, we don't suit research labs. Rapin, I'm different from you. I don't have any talent for magic. Moreover, I also don't have any talent in taming magical beasts. So I thought that it'd be too dangerous for me to take adventurer jobs, and so I refused you. Even until now, I don't think that was the wrong choice. But I think it would have been better if I gave up research earlier. That way I wouldn't have ended bankrupt. But in the end, I did end up finding a job here today, so it may not have been all that bad. We decided that if it's here, we'd be able to make those guys who laughed at us take back their words. And while it's only been a few hours after finding out about the cleaner slimes, I realized that there's some benefit in continuing slime research after all. I'm really grateful to the boss. Calkins, I'll rely on you from now on, so please do your best. Ryoma, of course. Calkins, it seems a lot has happened, but in any case I'm glad that you'll be able to live safely, Arrow. And with Ryoma's store, you'll definitely have a peace of mind when it comes to your livelihood. Rapin looks like they're done talking. Oh, come to think of it, didn't Rapin come for something? It doesn't look like it's for laundry, or did he put the laundry inside his item box? By the way, Rapin-san, did you come here today to have your laundries washed? Ryoma, oh right, I didn't come here today for a laundry request. I already had a lot of clothes washed yesterday, so I'm fine on that front, Arrow. Rapin, I see. So he came when I wasn't around. Today, I came here to inform you about something that I think you should know, Arrow. Do you know about grell frogs? Rapin, grell frogs. Those are the magical beasts that will have an outbreak in a swamp near this town, right? Its hide is used to make armor, and its internal organs are used to make medicines. Ryoma, since you know about them, then this'll be quick. The outbreak is starting, Arrow. Rapin, really? Ryoma, the signs have just come out, so the peak will be after 3 or 4 days. The request regarding the grell frogs will be posted in the guild, starting tomorrow, Arrow. The grell frogs sell for a high price as an ingredient for medicine, so it's a good time to make money. Moreover, they can also be used as feed for the Rimmel birds, so they're quite popular among slave magic users and nobles. It's quite prestigious for a slave magic user to be able to tame a Rimmel bird, so if you were to catch that, then the guild's view of you will change. But from what I've heard from Calkins regarding the details of his employment, it probably wouldn't have any effect, Arrow. Rapin, true. In fact, it would probably have the opposite effect, and Matthew would become even more hostile. Speaking of which, I heard that Rimmel birds are able to fly fast, and so they're probably useful for communicating. Thank you for the information. I think I'll give taming the Rimmel birds a shot, since it'll be good to have a way to quickly communicate with the other branch stores once I set them up. Ryoma, all of the sudden, someone knocked at the door. I think it might be Carm-san from the voice, but because his voice is similar to Carla-san's, it's quite hard to tell which. Boss, the adventurer, Asaga-sama, and 4 others are here. They said they had something they wanted to talk to you about. Carm, what? For the meantime, Rapin-san and Calkins-san gave me an understanding glance, and then I replied, please have them come here. Ryoma, I understand. Carm, as he said that, Carm-san took his leave. After that, Calkins-san also left the room. It seems that because he can meet Rapin-san from now on, he went back to his work. And then coming from a different entrance from Calkins-san, Asaga-san, Miya-san, Warana-san, Myzelia-san, and Sirius-san came. Welcome everyone, what's the matter? Ryoma, sorry for the sudden visit, Naya. Rapin-san is also here, Naya. Miya, I came here to tell Ryoma about the grell frog outbreak, Arrow. Rapin, oh, so you too. We came here to talk about something related to that, Gazaru. Asagi, it's quite sudden, but Ryoma, can you tell us where you bought those work clothes you used before? Warana, while we can leave our laundry here, going back is quite hard, especially to us beastmen and dragon newts. That's why we want to get some clothes that won't get dirty easily. Myzelia, I see, so that's why, then in that case they have good timing. I'll introduce them to Serge-san's store. I've already been delivering the waterproof cloths, so I guess I should get started with making them. You can get them from the Morgan firm of this town. It's not yet popular, so the demand is still quite low. Because of that, I don't know how many they have in stock. There might be the possibility of running out of stock, but since you have already met him in my store's opening party, and with my introduction, I think you should be able to get some advice. Ryalma, at the very least you won't be turned down. Really? Thank you very much, Syria, please don't mind it. Ryalma, no, really. You've really saved us since our nose work way better than humans. Myzelia, even with just fragrances, it's quite tough. Whereana is it really that tough? Thank you. Then we'll be taking our leave. When we go to the Morgan firm, we'll be troubling you. Asagi, as he said that, Asaga-san hurriedly went back. What? That's kinda strange. Whereana true, I thought Asagi would apologize a bit more for suddenly intruding. Myzelia, Syria, what Naya? What's the matter, Syria-san? Ryalma, the work clothes Ryalma-san had with him might be running out of stock. Syria, Mia, Myzelia, Whereana. So that's it. Whereana, Asagi, so you made sure to quickly buy one for yourself. Myzelia, we have to hurry, Naya. Ryalma-kun, thank you, Naya. Mia, as they said that, Mia-san and the others also quickly left. Is it that bad? I wonder exactly how effective their noses are. What a noisy bunch, huh? Rapin. Rapin-san, you're not going. Ryalma, I'm already used to foul odors and dirty things. It's an indispensable part of being a researcher, Aru. Moreover, I'm going to be catching grell frogs with my magic, so I won't be getting that dirty, Aru. Rapin, I see. Ryalma, after that, I talked a little bit more with Rapin-san about magical beasts. While talking, I learned that when the guild buys grell frogs, they pay a medium silver coin for each. This is apparently because of the many effects that the medicines made from grell frogs' inner organs have. When I heard that, I thought about the medical knowledge that I received when I came into this world, and there were over 50 kinds that used grell frog as an ingredient. Moreover, there were a lot of analeptics and vitality boosters amongst those medicines, making them popular amongst nobles and men. But the most important part is the processing. If it's done by someone unskilled, then the quality will immediately drop. If one still attempts it, then not only is there a possibility of the medicine being of poor quality, it's also possible that the medicine won't be created. That's why the guild warns against making the medicine by oneself when they post the request. The most important part of the process is draining the blood. As much as possible, one needs to drain the blood thoroughly. If this isn't done properly, then the quality will become bad. Wait a moment. Couldn't I pull this off perfectly with the bloody slime? They mentioned internal organs, so I thought it'd be necessary to deal with them and use them quickly, but apparently that's not the case, as you could just dry them and then preserve it. Normally, during this process, you'd have to nimbly use wind magic. Moreover, the quality will change depending on the speed of drying. So I guess I could just use alchemy for this part, right? With alchemy, not only is the process simple, but there are a lot of benefits, and it's even possible to preserve it. And regarding the request, if I don't take it, the only thing that will happen is that I won't be able to find a place to sell it, and the price will be easy to drive down. Getting the ingredients without taking the request is apparently fine, so I guess I could work this like an herb collection request, and just go grab some ingredients without taking the request. As we talked like that, quite a bit of time had passed, and now it was about time for Rapin-san to go home. I sent him off, and then I went to check the store's income for the day before closing. Afterwards, I left Volume 2, Chapter 24 TL Note. Little help with this one, please. Chinese letter, Japanese 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 letter, Chinese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Chinese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Volume 2, Chapter 24. When I got back to the lodging, I went to Elia's room. There, Aaron let me in as usual and served me black tea. "Welcome, so did you manage to settle your discussion with the Merchant Guild?" "Madam, yes, moreover, I've also already hired 3 new slave magic users today." "Ryalma, you've already hired them. Aren't you hurrying too much?" "Reinhardt, that may be so, but it's because I found some good people. The guild master also mentioned that it's fine and I got her permission." "Ryalma, ho, then I can guess it's fine." Rainbach, also, they're all people who were demoted and were made to research slimes, so it seems they're quite eager to work. Like, "We're gonna show them," or something. Ryalma, I see, so it's like that. Reinhardt, those kind might actually be more reliable than someone who'd try to put in reason, then try to keep up an appearance. Madam, after we finished talking about the store, Reinhardt-san began to talk about the Grell frog outbreak. "Looks like we'll be going to catch the Grell frog and tame the Rimmel bird the day after tomorrow." The next day, I show my face at the shop in the morning and talk to them about tomorrow. They're Calkins. San gave me some warning regarding the Rimmel birds. Apparently, Calkins-san attempted to hunt it every year, so I couldn't help but ask him if he wasn't going to try this year. "It's already been decided that I'll be working at this shop, so it doesn't matter anymore." "Calkins," said Calkins-san as he showed me a cheerful face. After that, I went to Serge-san's store to deliver the 70 sheets of cloth I made the day before yesterday. "Welcome, Ryalma-sama, Serge." "Good morning, Serge-san. I came here to deliver the waterproof cloths." "Ryalma, thank you very much. By the way, 5 people came here yesterday according to your referral. Also there also been others who would come from time to time and buy your waiters when they noticed it. Looks like it'll sell better than expected, especially to the adventurers." "Sir, come to think of it, I did walk in the town with that. Is it because of that? When I took a request to clean the latrine pits before, I walked around the town in those for days. I guess it must be caught on because I stood out." "Ryalma, that's most likely it. Everyone who came here to purchase it already knew about it, and I didn't have to explain it to them. With this, the demand might increase faster than planned." "Serge, I brought 70 sheets with me today, but I still have some headroom, so I'll try to see if I can increase the production rate. I should be able to increase it by expanding the workplace." "Ryalma, thank you very much, but please do take care not to push yourself too much." Serge, so Serge-san's also heard about me overworking. "Please rest assured, my store's already able to function by itself, and the longest part of the waterproof cloths production is waiting for it to dry." "Ryalma, then I guess it's fine, but—" Serge, as he said that, Serge-san looked at me doubtingly. Ignoring that, I brought out the waterproof cloths, and after confirming them, he paid me for the manufacturing cost. After I'd received the payment and the new untreated cloths, I went to the abandoned mine. As soon as I got to the abandoned mine, I set the cloths and immediately start the treatment for 70 of them. During that, I went to a different level with the 2 earth slimes and the scavenger slimes, and I began constructing a new workplace while I trained the earth slimes. I had the earth slimes use create block to dig a hole, while I had the scavenger slimes carry them. Then I used pavement to reinforce the walls. After preparing the tunnel, we made the room. After that, I took the sticky slimes that treated the cloths and began to work on a new set. Today, I managed to do double of last time's 70 at 140 sheets. The sticky slimes looked like they could still do more, but I stopped at around 150. It's not good to push them too hard. I had the slimes work hard, so I decided not to train them today. Afterwards, I filled a vessel of stone I made with earth magic with water from my water magic, and then I gave it to the slimes. Ah, it's slow, but they swarmed over me. At that time, a thought popped up in my mind. Will slimes other than the earth slimes and the dark slime also absorb magic? As I thought that, I began to release neutral magic power. In response to that, the other slimes also began to absorb it. However, it's different from the vigor the dark slime and the earth slimes show when absorbing. As I changed the attribute of the magic power I released, I found out that the acid slimes, the sticky slimes, and the bloody slime all had a preference for neutral magic. The poison slime had a preference for poison magic power, while the metal slimes and the iron slimes had a preference for earth magic power. But what was surprising to me is that the cleaner slimes and the scavenger slimes had a preference for two attributes. The cleaner slimes, water and light, while the scavenger slimes liked earth and dark magic power. It seems it's possible for some slimes to like more than one attribute. As for the healer slimes, they also had a preference for the three attributes neutral, water, and light. But it would appear that they liked healing magic the most. I wonder why these are the only ones who prefer magic over magic power. Well, I guess it's fine since it'll also be practice for my healing magic, is what I was thinking. But then, all of the sudden, the heal slimes became ready for a split. So magic power can also serve as nourishment. I'll have to verify this later. For the meantime, I had them split and then I contracted them. Like this, the two heal slimes became 4. After that, in order to prepare for the Rimmel bird tomorrow, I took out the guitar I made during the time I lived in the forest. I tightened its strings and then I practiced a bit. It's been a while, but I can still play to some extent. It would be great if I could tame it with this, but, well, whatever will be, right? If it doesn't go well, then I could just go look for a different bird type. After that, I killed time until the cloths finished drying. Then I took the finished cloths, went back to the town, and delivered them as usual to Serge's shop. With this, I've apparently finished populating the inventory for the waterproof cloth for the time being. Serge-san said that it will also take time to create the products, so for the meantime there won't be a need for me to deliver new ones. As expected though, I think he's being anxious and is trying not to push me too much. Even though it's the slimes who do all the work, I'll just store up the remaining cloths after finishing them then. After I stepped out of Serge-san's store, I looked up at the sky and thought, I finished the job at a tricky time again, huh? Ryoma, even if I went back home now, there's nothing to do. And there's also no time left to go back to the mine and train at times like this. I guess it's best to go to the church. This time when I got to the church, the one at the gate was the woman from when I had my status board made. Ara, aren't you the one from? Woman, thank you for before. Ryoma, welcome. What business do you have here today? Woman, today I came here to pray. Ryoma, I see, then in that case please follow me. Woman, I was again brought to the chapel with plenty of chairs, and just like before I grabbed a chair, put my hands together and prayed. Huh. I thought I'd be sent to the God's world again as usual, but nothing happened. Then again, I guess it's stranger if I were to go there all the time. As I thought that, in the next instant my surrounding became white. This is. So I guess I did end up coming here today as well. But still, there was a rather weird pause, huh? Ryoma, my bad. I normally don't use my power, so it looks like it took some time. God, to my mutterings, a voice came from behind me. When I turned my head, I saw a thick-haired man with a small stature standing there with a wine barrel on his right shoulder as he drank from a bottle with his left. It's the god of wine. The god of wine, Tekun-sama. Ryoma, after he separated his lips from his wine bottle, he answered. Yeah, I'm Tekun. You don't need to be formal with me. After all, I am a god, I can see your heart, so there's no point in keeping up that courtesy. Besides, it's a pain, so you can also just call me Tekun. Anyway, take a seat. Tekun, now that he mentions it, there's certainly no point when the person you're talking to is a god who can read your mind. I continue just like Tekun told me to, and I sat in that place. Then I'll proceed as usual. Nice to meet you. I'm Ryalma Take Bayashi. Thank you for divine protection. Ryalma, you don't have to mind the divine protection. I just give it from time to time when I find someone interesting. It just so happens that it's you. Tekun, as Tekun said that, he drank some liquor from his bottle. Are you the only one here today? Ryalma, yeah, everyone else is passing the time by doing whatever they want. The god of war, the god of magic, and the god of land all can't be seen aside from this completely white place, but they all have their own comfortable spaces. There they created what you would call in human terms a house and are living in it. Tekun, I see. I didn't know that. Or rather, is this your house? Ryalma, nah, I don't have a house. I am the god of wine and craftsmen, and amongst wines and craftsmen there are several kinds of places, so I just wander there. Tekun, you wander there. Ryalma, this may be the divine realm, but it is still connected to the world you live in. I can't explain it well though, so you should have someone else explain it to you. But that aside, drink. Tekun took a cup full of liquor from the air and gave it to me. Rather than calling it a cup though, I guess calling it a goblet is more appropriate. The goblet is silver in color, and it has several silver and small precious stones decorating it here and there. Cheers! Cheers! After toasting vigorously, I drank. There my mouth was filled with the sweetness of an extremely delicious liquor. This is delicious. Ryalma, this is fruit wine made from the mixture of the fruit and honey of the flowers raised in a land that's received the god of land's divine protection. Naturally, it's delicious. Tekun Ho, could I get some to take back with me? And would it be possible to also get a land with that kind of divine protection? Ryalma, what? Did you think you wouldn't be able to get this wine because it was dedicated to God? As for divine protections, I can't give divine protections to anything except people, but the god of land can give divine protections to lands. Also, the gain used to give divine protection to everything in this world, After all, that guy's the god of creation. Tekun, well, nowadays though, after the living things of this world had grown and changed, the places where gain could give divine protection have become less and less. The same is true for me, but there are also times when I take away the divine protection. For example, when a passionate blacksmith does his best and I come to like him and give him my divine protection. But then he suddenly becomes lazy. At a time like that, I'll want to take his divine protection away. Tekun, as Tekun said that, he took another sip from his bottle. By the way, would you happen to know where Gain and the others have been going to lately? Tekun, where they're going. Ryalma, yeah, I haven't seen them a lot lately, and there are plenty of times when they just suddenly disappear. It's not like there's a lot to do, so it's fine, but I'm concerned. Tekun, even if you tell me that. I can't come here unless they call me, and even when Ryalma there, I suddenly thought of the last time I came here and chatted with Kufo. It's possible that they might have come to my previous world. Ryalma, yours. What was it? Earth. Tekun, yes, that's right. Kufo said it when I came here last. Apparently Gain and the others are going sightseeing in Earth. Ryalma, ha, sightseeing in another world. What on earth are those guys doing? Tekun couldn't help but yell as he was surprised. Is it strange? Ryalma, it is. Normally, gods won't meddle with worlds other than the world they're affiliated with. People with your case are a very special exception, so there's no way we can go there for something as mundane as sightseeing. Tekun, but that's what Kufo said the last time we met, so I don't think I'm mistaken. Apparently, Gain took a liking to the Japanese idols and Rurusha's going around eating sweets. As for Kufo, he's going around the secluded regions of the planet. Ryalma, when Tekun heard that, he began to think. What's going on? You're telling the truth, right? I don't know much about idols, but Tekun, yeah, I'm not lying. Ryalma, while it's not like it's impossible to go there, but normally the god on the other side will get mad. To begin with, nothing like this has happened until you got here, Unless... Tekun, all of the sudden, Tekun made an angry expression as he stood up. What's wrong? Ryalma, those bastards. They wouldn't have actually made a deal with the god on the other side to sightsee just because they had too much free time, would they? The ones that have nothing to do aren't only them, and yet they're the only ones having fun. As Tekun trembled all over, he quickly took the wine on the ground and carried it and then screamed. "This isn't the time for this. I'm definitely gonna find those guys." Tekun, as he said that, he began to run, so in a panic I called out to him. "Wait, what about me?" Ryoma asked. "Sorry, just pass the time like that, eventually you'll go back. It's fine even if you take some with you. As long as you pour magic power into that goblet it will produce wine, so don't worry about running out. Sorry, but I'm in a hurry right now, see ya." Tekun fast. Tekun ran so fast he couldn't be seen. Or rather, the pace doesn't really match with the short distance. I already can't see him. I really was left behind, huh? Then what should I do with this? Being left alone here, I guess I'll drink some for the meantime. I take a sip. Yep, it's definitely delicious. Still, I kind of want some snack to go with this too. Unfortunately, there's only a liquor and a goblet in this place. He told me that if I put magic power into this thing, liquor will come out, but even then what's the point if snacks don't come out too? But if I can use magic power, then I guess I can also use magic. As I thought that, I tried opening my item box. Item box. A black orifice opened in the air. Looks like I can use item box. I was able to use it, so I guess it doesn't have anything to do with the place. Well, whatever. Let me see if I can get something I can use as snack. There's nothing else aside from food ingredients and fruits, huh? Recently, I've started to put everything in the refrigerator in the store, sigh. I take out my things from the item box, but I couldn't find any food. While I was doing that, the time to go home came as light started to illuminate. Not good. If I don't clean up now. I drink the liquor and gulp and put everything away in a hurry. In any case, I need to put everything back as fast as I can. After I finish putting everything back, the light became stronger as soon as I closed my item box. Next thing I knew, I was back in my world. Is it a safe? I quickly checked my item box, and as I checked my things one by one, I was relieved. For the meantime, I guess I'll go out. Afterwards, I gave some donation, then I left the church. Come to think of it, I drank that last cup in one gulp, huh? I did something really wasteful. It would have been better if I just drank it slowly without looking for snack. That liquor was really delicious. Because of that, I felt a bit regretful. And so, as I went back home while feeling a little down, Volume 2, Chapter 25 TL Note, emotional resistance can also be read as mental resistance. Edit. 2015, 0730 Fix some naming errors. Edit. 2015, 0801 Fixed a minor mistranslated line. Volume 2, Chapter 25 The next day. The time to catch the grell frogs and tame the rimmel birds has finally come. And because of that, me and the 4 members of the Duke's family, along with Sebasu-san, Jill-san, Zeph-san, Camel-san, and Huzu-san, are all walking towards the mine. Elia and the others are all wearing armor just like the time when Elia went to the mine to train. As for me, I'm wearing a jumpsuit. Because of that, it kind of feels out of place, since I'm the only one wearing something different. We're not using the carriage today as another part of Elia's training, but unexpectedly, Elia might actually have more endurance than I thought. Although we're taking a break right now, she hasn't said a word of complaint until now. Ryoma-san, are you okay? Elia, I'm all right. Ryoma-san has plenty of stamina, huh? Elia began to feel down. Honestly, it's not like I mind the fact that you're tired, you know. After all, we're walking up a mountain, and because there's no pavement, it's quite difficult to walk. The fact that you're not complaining is already more than good enough. Apparently Camel-san thought the same thing because he went to encourage her. It's all right, Ajao-sama. Compared to other children, Ajao-sama can already walk very well. Camel, that's right, Ajao-sama. Don't compare yourself to Ryoma. After all, this guy's a little bit abnormal. Normally, it wouldn't be weird to have been completely exhausted since way back. Seriously, Ryalma, you should at least try to sweat or something. Jill, even if you tell me to sweat, Ryalma, it's a physiological phenomenon, so, young master, a normal kid would usually perspire without being told, you know. Letter FF5A, letter FF45, letter FF46, letter FF46. You're matching the Ajao-sama's pace, so it's not that fast. So I can kind of understand when you've also been trained like us, but what kind of training did you do? Camel, if I were to put it simply, I trained to my limits. When I collapsed, I'd rest. It's not weird to get wounds either, as I was beat up continuously to drive the techniques into me. And I was only given two choices, either to suffer or to keep on training. Anyway, I kept this up every day, and in the end this is how I ended up. Ryalma, is your master a demon or something? Letter FF4A, letter FF49, letter FF4C, letter FF4C. Yeah, that might be it. Ryalma, my dad was really quite scary when I was a kid, so much so that when he was around I couldn't breathe because of the pressure. While I was thinking that, Rainbow-sama mentioned that it's time to depart. It's almost time for break to end. We need to start walking again before Elia completely cools down. Rainbow. It's just a little bit more, so do your best, Elia. Reinhardt, we began walking again. And after 30 minutes of walking, the road led us to a forest and we pushed our way through. After another 30 minutes, a foul odor wafted to our noses. So this is the smell of the swamp. As I thought that, we went even further, and eventually a reddish-brown swamp came to view. It was around the boundary of the forest and the mine. And although we're inside a forest, the number of trees are few, and it feels like the swamp was made from the debris of the cave after it had collapsed because of the rain or something. As we got closer, the foul smell became stronger. To this, Elia covered her nose with her hand and tried to endure. So this is the rumored swamp. It would appear that the smell is coming from the fallen leaves and the rotting corpses of the creatures that live in the swamp. Ryalma, what a horrible smell. Elia, the smell here is certainly bad, however. You also need to learn how to get used to this kind of environment, since the towns outside of the Jamal's territory have it worse. Madam, come to think of it, Rainbow-sama did take care of the Jamal household's territory's environment, so it's quite better than others. Wait, does that mean that all the other territory aside from here are? Let's pray that's not the case. Fumu, looks like there still aren't any grell frogs and rimmel birds around here. Well, there are several swamps, so let's go around and look for others. Rainbow, at Rainbow-sama's words, we began to move again, and after 10 minutes of walking we found a swamp 3 times bigger than the last. Over there were 30 adventurers and slave magic users and over 200 blue birds. They're here, those are rimmel birds, Rainbow. That's, Ryalma, they're beautiful. Elia, its appearance is close to a long-tailed cock without a coxcomb. And its body is blue, while its tail and head are adorned with beautiful green feathers. I have to agree, it's definitely the popular type. Along with the reddish-brown swamp, it's mysteriously pretty. It's really beautiful, but because of that, I think the adventurers around here will get in the way. Let's go there. Adventurer 1, hurry, catch it. Adventurer 2, Adventurer 3, hurry, before it gets eaten. Adventurer 4, the adventurers entered the swamp, and they struggled with the rimmel birds for the grell frogs. While the rough men were being bathed in mud, I saw the sight of obscured frogs with the same reddish color as the swamp be caught by men with a net barehanded, and it felt extremely sweltering to watch. At a time like that, 2 young men prepared some musical instruments by the side of the swamp. You 2 watch carefully. Those guys are about to try taming a rimmel bird. Reinhardt, one of the 2 men, began to play a flute. His instrument looked like a recorder, but unfortunately he isn't that good. As soon as the music ended, the rimmel birds all simultaneously sang. The noise the birds made were as if they were laughing and mocking the humans. According to the information I received from Calkins-san, when the Rimmel birds do not acknowledge your performance, they'll release a warning sound. And that warning sound is extremely unpleasant. So it's like this, huh? Certainly, it's not something pleasant to hear, but I guess this is something that happens often since the adventurers who are trying to catch the Grell frogs aren't minding it. I think you two already understand, but yes, this is a failure. Like this, he won't be able to tame one. You can try again as many times as you want, but if you try too many times, they'll end up attacking you, so it's better to just do it once, and at most twice. While Reinhardt-san was explaining, the other man began to play the flute. This one's worse than the other one. This time, before he even finished playing, the Rimmel birds already started laughing. I guess he got mad when he heard that because he took out a short sword that looks to be for self-defense. As the man entered the swamp, he moved towards a Rimmel bird. Not good, don't let your guard down. Rainbach, ha, the four guards. At Rainbach-sama's words, the four guards stepped forward. Even Sebasu-san and Reinhardt-san was vigilant, and the madam went near me and Elia. Gwa, hi hi. Man, I wonder if it's because it felt danger to the man who drew close to it that it fired off the magic wind cutter. In any case, that attack only lightly grazed the shoulder of the man, but the other Rimmel birds also looked at the man. At that point, the man's anger from a while ago vanished, and was instead changed to fear and panic. The man quickly began to run with all his strength, and the people around him also began to run. Behind the man, several Rimmel birds fired off wind cutter at his back. Their accuracy apparently wasn't that good, and they missed, but the man became desperate as he ran. Don't be like that guy. The Rimmel birds are gentle, but they're not weak. If you do something like that, you'll be hated and they'll attack you. Madam, said the madam as she warned me and Elia, that guy is coming over here. That's not good. When the man got to the edge of the swamp, he relaxed for a bit, causing him to stop moving for a moment. There, a Rimmel bird fired off its wind cutter. That attack grazed the man's leg, causing him to become unable to run. When we saw that, Camille and I both casted our magic at the same time. Earth wall, Camille and Ryalma. A wall made out of earth was erected between the man and the Rimmel bird. But in order to chase after the man, the Rimmel birds fired off several dozens of wind cutter. The surface of the wall was scraped off, but it was able to stop the attack. At that, they stopped firing off the wind cutter, but in the next moment they all began to chirp. Cuke, 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 cuke. Kaiha, Elia goo. Reinhardt, this is. Ryalma, everyone be careful. Reinhardt, everyone suddenly began to hurt. And once Elia began to shake, the madam and Sebasu-san hurriedly went to support her. What's going on? Looking at my surrounding, I saw that the adventurers were also in pain, even though they shouldn't be able to hear this sound well. Some of them even began to crouch and scream as if they'd lost their minds. I can also feel some magic power accompanying the voice, so I guess the cause must be this cry. When I searched for the location of the magic power and the sound, I immediately managed to find the culprit. Looks like it's somewhat similar to my wind magic, big voice, in that it also manipulates the air to make the sound louder in the surroundings. Then in that case, all I need to do is stop the oscillation of the air. Silent, Ryalma aiming at the source, I fired off my magic. At that moment the sound stopped and Reinhardt-san and the others stopped hurting. Effective, but painful. The other side was causing the oscillations to increase with magic, while I did the opposite with my own magic. We're both doing opposite things, so the victor will be decided by the one who has more control. If I lose focus, the sound will come out again. Our control is equal. No, it's gradual, but I'm being pushed. Then in that case, I have no choice but to push through with my magic power. I chant the same magic again, but this time with more magic power. Silent, Ryalma tried to resist for a bit more, but the Rimmel bird quickly left after it realized it was at a disadvantage. The other Rimmel birds also left. Is it over? Camille, heal that man. Jill, Zeph, Huzu. Bring the fainted adventurers to the edge of the swamp. Sebasu, how is Elia? Reinhardt-san gave orders, then he asked Sebasu-san about Elia's status. But before Sebasu-san could talk, Elia replied, I'm fine. Elia, are you okay? You don't feel hurt anywhere. Reinhardt, yes. I was just scared all of the sudden, but that's all. I've already calmed down. Elia, I see. Then that's good, Ryama-kun, thank you. That was you a while ago, right? Reinhardt, the Rimmel bird was the cause, right? I certainly stopped it, but what was going on? Ryama, Madam and Elia's and Madam's voice leaked out. Ryama-san, didn't you feel anything? Elia, nothing in particular. I did think that it was noisy though. But that aside, I was quite shocked when all of a sudden everyone around started to faint and hurt. I felt strong magic power coming from that one Rimmel bird, so I figured that was the culprit, but I honestly have no idea what just happened. Ryama, noisy. That's all. Madam, yes. Ryama, hearing my response, the madam cocked her head in puzzlement. At that, Rainbox-sama and Sebasu-san explained it to me. The Rimmel bird that Ryama-kun stopped wasn't just a Rimmel bird. That was a higher type known as Nightmare Rimmel bird. These type of Rimmel birds can use dark magic on top of their wind magic. And their most prominent special feature is that their crying voice is accompanied by a mental attack as a byproduct of the dark element. Rainbok, when one hears a Nightmare Rimmel bird's cry, one will be afflicted with fear, confusion, and insanity. Moreover, there are also people who will see an illusion and end up fainting, just like those guys. Sebasu, as Sebasu-san said that, he pointed at the people Jill-san and the others were carrying. Half of them were seated, while there were those who were unconscious, and then those who were crouching while shivering in fear. Seeing them like this is quite cruel, Ryama. That just goes to show how strong a mental attack it is. Physical strength and mental strength are different, so it's possible even for veteran adventurers to lose consciousness. And in their case, they're beginners, so it's a given that they'd end up like that. Sebasu, no matter how much you train, what's painful is still painful. Well, you'll be able to resist though. Rainbok, come to think of it, I possess the mental resist skill at level 9, so I guess it must be that. I have the mental resist skill, so it might be because of that. Ryama, as I said that, the puzzled madam suddenly went, that's it, and was suddenly in full understanding. So it's really the effect of my skill. Apparently my skill level's so high, I didn't feel anything. Still, I have to be careful. Mental attacks can't be seen by the eyes after all. And while I didn't suffer any of the effects, it's not like I have any countermeasure for it. And while it's good that there was an effect on me, it's also not good that it was to the extent where I didn't feel it all, and ended up not even knowing that I was under attack. After a while, Jill-san and the others came back. Looks like they're finished helping those people. What's their status? Reinhardt, the only one injured is the one who started all this. Moreover, he's already received treatment, so there won't be any problem and he'll be able to come back to the town. Jill, still, what should we do? All of the Rimmel birds ran away because of all the commotion. Zeph, look for their nest. Ryama, that's difficult, young master. After all, the Rimmel birds ride on wind magic when they fly in the air. So the speed and altitude they fly at is at a different level compared to other magical beasts. Like this, the area's too wide and it won't be easy to find them. Zeph, that's why people who want to tame them wait here. I don't know if they'll come again today, so are we going to wait? Reinhardt, will wait. We came all the way out here after all, so I'd at least like to try taming them once. Elia, at Elia's words, we decided to wait here for a bit more. While we waited, the adventurers at the edge of the swamp slowly recovered, and even the people who had lost their consciousness had woken up. I don't know if it's because they don't feel like hunting anymore, or because the Duke's household and its guards are here, but before we knew it, we ended up all alone. We created some stone chairs at a place that's slightly distant from the swamp, sat there and chatted. During that, I found out that while the nightmare Rimmel-bird's mental attack is strong, the reason it's really strong is because in order to stop it you'd have to attack with magic or use a weapon. But then if you did that, the other Rimmel-birds will attack you, at which point it'll turn into a desperate situation. In order to avoid that, the only way is to resist or try to run. My magic wasn't an attack, and it only stopped the sound, so it's okay. It's really good that I was able to hear from the Duke's family and Calkins, saying not to hurt the Rimmel-birds. Also, the Rimmel-bird's higher type is apparently a really rare magical beast, and in fact, it was last seen 10 years ago. It seems like my luck's quite good, since it was thanks to my mental resistance that I was able to see the bird clearly and was able to properly use my magic. That Rimmel-bird's body was slightly darker than the others. But although I say dark, it's more like a strong color, like deep blue and green. It feels kind of high class. And then, while we were passing the time while chatting, all of a sudden the atmosphere became dreary. I'll have to leave Ryalmasan soon, huh? Elia and the others came here to see the Rimmel-bird and try taming it. That's why it could be said that they had already mostly completed their purpose for coming to this town. All that's left is to go home, and Elia's concerned about that. What should I say? I mean, it's true that I'll also be lonely, but if I said, right, then that's us too unfeeling. But then if I went, don't go, then she'll just be like, it's disgusting to be told that by a 40-year-old uncle. I mean, it might be all right from how I look on the outside, but mentally speaking, it's really not. How about we'll meet again? Yeah, this'll do. I'd really like to say something more effective, but unfortunately, as I thought that, the madam said this. Elia, it's not like you won't meet again, right, Ryalmakun? Madam, while I was thinking, the madam said it before I was able to. Of course. Ryalma, if you send letters to each other, then you'll be able to find out how each other's doing. Rainbach, right, we can still meet again. Ryalma-san, please write to me and I'll also write to you. Elia, then let's do that. Ryalma, idiot. If you're a man, then you should at least hug her. Huzu, as Huzu-san said that, he hit my back with full strength. Because of that, I almost fell off my chair. Yuwa, what are you doing? Or rather, what are you thinking? Aren't you the bodyguard? Normally you'd be stopping me, not encouraging. Ryalma, huh, I'm obviously doing this because it's interesting. Huzu, as he said that, he gave me a thumbs up along with a smile. Gyuo, why you? Ryalma, somehow I felt a little irritated, so I hit him a bit. After that, I turned around and my eyes met with Elia. Elia's face was slightly red. You know, it's a bit troubling if you give me that kind of reaction. I thought the madam would save us, but when I took a look at her, she was just watching over us. Or rather, she looks like she's enjoying this. Hey, what are you, Gufu? Huzu asked. Huzu-san, as he held his stomach while crouching because of the pain. I'm just hiding my embarrassment. Ryalma, this is crossing the line, even if I do say so myself. And although it was a spur of the moment, isn't this a bit cruel? Don't hit me just because you're shy. Ow, 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 why does it hurt so much when you hit me while I was wearing armor? It hurts, Huzu, it's that kind of skill is why. Ryalma, it's a technique that allows the force to pass through inside for the special case where one needs to fight with an opponent who is wearing an armor. Naturally, it'd hurt. No good, my tension's also gotten weird, calm down me. In the meanwhile, the atmosphere became delicate. Ryalma, Elia, Ryalma. Elia, pirororororo, something. What? Ryalma, phew. Elia, that delicate atmosphere was cut apart with a whistling sound. When we looked over where the sound was coming from, we saw a group of Rimmel-birds headed here. Volume 2, Chapter 26 TL Note. The extra chapter won't be posted tonight. I'll post it sometime this week. Anyways, here's your chapter. Enjoy. Volume 2, Chapter 26. I was speechless when I saw the flock of Rimmel-birds flying. The sight of the Rimmel-birds spreading their wings and fluttering their tails, with the mine as their backdrop, as they descended down to the swamp, was so beautiful that I even forgot to breathe. As they descended, each one of them went after the grell frogs to feed on. It feels like there's a bit more of them compared to before, but it doesn't feel like they came here for revenge. For the meantime, it doesn't feel like there's any danger, however. One of the birds within that flock has been staring at me this entire time. It's the nightmare variant from before. That bird's been staring at me all this time without eating anything. It hasn't even moved its gaze from me once. I wonder if it's cautious because of what happened before. I noticed from behind me that Elia had already taken her musical instrument from Sebasu-san. I might actually get in the way if I stay here. Reinhardt-san, Ryama, what is it? Reinhardt, I'll take my leave for a moment. That higher variant from before has been looking at me all this time, so I might get in Elia's way if I'm. Ryama, I don't mind. Elia, as I was talking, Elia interjected. One must tame a magical beast while facing it. For me to actually blame my failure just because Ryama-san is here, what an absurd excuse. I won't say something like that. Elia different from her normal aura. Right now, Elia was emanating an aura full of dignity. Moreover, I would like Ryama-san to watch me while I tame, so please stay there. It's really reassuring to have you here, Ryama-san, Elia said Elia as she showed me her usual smile. Well, if you tell me something like that, then there's no way I'd be able to leave. I understand. Do your best. Ryama, I will. Elia, after words of encouragement naturally left my lips, I went behind Elia. Elia took a deep breath several times, then she began her performance. Just like before, Elia played a calm and comfortable melody. Her piece started quietly, and then gradually it became stronger and stronger. The notes she played changed like the ever-changing size of the sea's waves, but whether it was strong or soft, the notes echoed clearly throughout the marshland without pause. The Rimmel birds began to sway from left to right as they matched the song. Their behavior a far cry from their reaction to the two men before. Elia's music continued like that, and eventually it ended calmly. Elia nervously looked at the Rimmel birds, but the next instant, all of the Rimmel birds simultaneously started chirping. This sound was different from their mocking chirps from before. Right now, their voices resounded like pianos and harps. It wasn't noise, far from that. Their echoing voices were like a musical performance. That performance continued for a minute, and eventually a beautiful Rimmel bird flew towards Elia with 8 more following from behind. When Elia saw that, she was petrified. Elia, the contract them. Ryama, right. Elia, having seemingly forgotten, began to contract the Rimmel birds one after another at my words. From the looks of things, it looks like she was able to successfully tame them. As Elia finished, she began to contract the last Rimmel bird, the most beautiful of them all. When she succeeded, she shouted cheers of happiness. I did it, Elia. Good job, Reinhardt, you did well. Rainbach, that's great, Elia. Madam, congratulations. Ryama, congratulations, Ajao-sama. Sebasu, Elia was able to tame 9 Rimmel birds in total. Just taming one should have been difficult, and yet, who could have thought that she would actually be able to tame so many? Please look at all these pretty children I've tamed. Elia, surrounded by the Rimmel birds, Elia was in high spirits as she caressed the Rimmel birds while she crouched. The Rimmel birds also seemed to have become emotionally attached, as you can even see some standing on her knees and on her shoulders. It's sad that when I saw that, I was reminded of the scene of opening a bag of bird feeds and all the birds crowding over it. Really, why am I remembering something so useless when I'm seeing such a touching scene like this? In fact, this scene is so touching you could paint it and name it, The Frolicking Beauty and the Flock of Birds. I guess it's only natural to think that, though. Well then, should I try to ride on this flow and try it for myself? As I brought out my guitar from my item box, Elia looked at me as if she had just suddenly been woken up. Ryama-san, is that a musical instrument you're also going to tame? Elia, I'm not as good as you, but I thought I'd try just like you did. Ryama, please do your best. Elia, do your best. Ryama-kun, Reinhardt, we're expecting good news. Rainbok, as everyone encouraged me, I did my preparations. And just like Elia, I took a deep breath. To tell you the truth, I haven't really properly learned the guitar. I just happened to receive an instructional book and a guitar from a neighbor when he decided to move. Apparently, he didn't need it anymore. So I played the guitar from time to pass the time, while I learned the chords from the book. I just played it because I felt like it, that's all. And although I may not be comparable to Elia's skill, I'll do my best. And so, the sound of the guitar echoed throughout the marshland. My choice of piece is something I heard from the TV in my previous world. I didn't buy the sheets or anything. I just learned it by intuition and practice. In fact, it's probably already completely different from the original piece. But even then, I don't mind. My music isn't that good, but it's not that bad either. And while I'm not really all that confident about this, I still think it's better for me to play it cheerfully. And so, just like with Elia's, the Rimmel birds also began to sway. Did they come to like it? It's kind of interesting seeing them like this. When the piece ended, the Rimmel birds quietly stood, unmoving, for a few seconds. And then, just like before, they began chirping as if they were singing. Afterwards, 6 Rimmel birds flew over. But what was surprising was that one of them was the higher variant from before. Wasn't it cautious of me? Ryalmasan contract them. Elia, oops, I also got stupefied there for a bit. I quickly tamed them all, one after another, and without any hitch, I was able to succeed. Foo, success. Ryalma, at my words, applause and congratulations erupted from the people around me. Congratulations, Ryalma-san. Elia, it's good that you were both able to succeed. Reinhardt, congratulations, Ryalma-sama. Sebasu, you did it, young master. Zeph, even though taming Rimmel birds is supposed to be very difficult, you too did really well to manage taming several of them. Madam, as the madam said that, everyone's eyes moved towards the Rimmel birds we had caught. The nightmare Rimmel bird I had and Elia's prettiest bird seemed to get along, as they flew through the sky and jumped on the earth. That Rimmel bird is really pretty. The 6 I'd caught are also pretty, but that one is even prettier as some parts of its color feels like it's shining. Sebasu-san, seeming to have realized something, said this. Aj-sama, Ryalma-sama, how about calling those 2 over and using monster identify on them? Sebasu Elia was a bit puzzled, but she immediately called hers over and used monster identify on it. When she called hers back, mine also came back, but it parked itself on my head. Why my head? Oh well, it's not like it's heavy, so whatever. Elia, while I was minding the bird on my head, Elia let out a shocked voice. What's wrong? Ryalma, this child isn't a Rimmel bird. It's a higher class. Elia, what? Wasn't the higher variant of the Rimmel bird only seen once in 10 years? Really? Its color is different from mine, but, Ryalma, yes, but it's not a nightmare Rimmel bird. This Rimmel bird is called Phantom Rimmel bird, and it doesn't use dark magic but light magic instead. Elia, there was something like that. Ryalma, I just thought it was strange, but Sebasu-san and the others were speechless because of shock. After they came back to their sense, they seemed so happy that they looked like they'd toss Elia into the air as they showered her with praise. After they had all calmed down, they explained. Apparently, the Phantom Rimmel bird is also a higher variant of the Rimmel bird, but it's even rarer than the Nightmare bird as it's only been seen once in 50 years. Seriously. After that, we went to the swamp to catch some grell frogs as per Elia's training. However, everyone's attention was at the Rimmel birds. Honestly, it's more like everyone's already forgotten that we came here for Elia's training. The grell frogs are actually quite easy to catch as long as you don't mind the smell. It's so easy it feels like they're losing on purpose. But because of that, we ended up catching a lot. It's also easy because there's no one else here aside from us. Otherwise, the struggle for the grell frogs would be harder. After we finished catching the grell frogs, we all went out of the swamp. And then with the help of the cleaner slimes, we all cleaned ourselves. I wonder if this is okay for training. Didn't we come here with the purpose of getting used to filth? Well, Elia's slime will also eventually turn into a cleaner slime, so I guess it's fine. Actually, I don't know, but no one's stopping it, so whatever. Having finished our work, we were about to go home, but before we did, we rested for a bit. The madam and Elia were both surrounded by our Rimmel birds. Reinhardtsan enviously looked on at that scene from a slightly distant place. I had heard that he didn't get along with bird-type magical beasts, but who would have thought that just by being near them they would threaten him? Rainbok-sama ordered Sebasu-san to use warp in order to go back to the town quickly, so he could have Aaron-san and the others prepare a feast. Because of that, when our break ended, and we went back to our lodging, a sumptuous feast with plenty of spices complemented by high-class wine was waiting for us. Naturally, it ended up becoming a banquet with me and Elia being its leading actors, and Rainbok-san and the others praised us plenty while we ate. As soon as Elia said she was full, she became engrossed in talking with everyone. As for me, I couldn't help but eat everything in front of me because of my frugal spirit. I thought it'd be a waste if the food and liquor just ended up thrown away, so in the end, I ended up eating and drinking too much. It's been a while since I'd eaten like this. Still, it's kind of different from my previous life. There were also times when I drank while being surrounded like this, but it wasn't this fun. The food from my previous life should be more delicious, but today it feels as if the food here is more delicious. The wine too. Come to think of it, Tekun-sama did say that I didn't enjoy drinking in my previous life. I guess this is what he means by enjoying drinking. Anyway, I guess I'll pray to Tekun today. After the banquet ended, I asked for some of the remaining high-class wine to use as an offering, and then I went back to my room. It's my second party since coming back to this world, but unlike my previous world, the parties here are fun. Thank you. This is something I received, but please let me use this as an offering. Something like this. Anyway, I face the statue and bow my head, and then I decided to sleep. I'm feeling good today, so I think I'll be able to sleep well. Volume 2, and also, regarding the translations, there are 3 terms that are introduced in this story that are closely related in meaning, but are not the same. I just want to clarify that I'm not just using synonyms to describe the same thing. The 3 terms are magic gem, magic stone, and magic jewel. In Japanese, they are Chinese letter, Mahouseki, Chinese letter, Mahouseki, and Chinese letter, Meiseki, respectively. These terms do not refer to the same thing. It'll be made clear in the story, but I just wanted to point it out to make it clear that they are not the same thing. Also, take note of the fact that the first 2 terms are homophones. I've put the kanjis in parentheses to show when the characters are misunderstanding. Volume 2 and the next day. As I visited Elia's room first thing in the morning, what greeted me there was a number of groaning adults. Ugh, sorry, Ryoma-kun, but could you get me some medicine again? Reinhardt, me too. I ended up drinking too much despite my age. Rainbok, me too, please. Madam, they were in high spirits yesterday, so they ended up drinking too much. And taking a closer look, I could see that even Aaron-san's and Lillian-san's countenance were slightly unpleasant. They drank a little since everyone was in a festive mood, but despite having drank so little, they're already like this. They're probably not good with liquor, but Sebasu-san is different. He drank so much, and yet he isn't any different from usual. As for Elia, she wasn't allowed to drink more than 1 glass, so she's not suffering from any hangover. I use warp and go to the pharmacy and the green grocer to buy some ingredients. Then afterwards I went back to the lodging, made the medicine, and prescribed it to the groaning adults. After they had drunk the medicine, they said this. Ryoma-kun, sorry about this, but could you take care of Elia today? Reinhardt, no matter how you look at it. With us being like this, there's no way we can look after her today. Rainbok, so won't you please take care of her? Ryoma-kun, madam. So in other words, they're telling me to go make some memories since we won't be able to meet for a while, right? Yeah, that's probably it, so there's no way I can refuse. No problem, please leave it to me. Ryalma. After that, the three members of the Jamal household went back to bed. From the looks of things, the part about them suffering from hangover seems to be true. I sent them off and then I asked Elia, "Then what should we do today?" "Ryalma, don't you have work to do today? Aren't you busy?" "Elia, the shop's already being taken care of by others, so all I need to do is show my face in the morning and in the evening." "Ryalma, then in that case could I see what Ryalma normally does?" "Elia, I don't mind, but Ryalma, is it fine with just something like that?" "Then let's go." "Elia, like this, it was decided that Elia will be accompanying me. And Sebasusan too, who will be coming as Elia's bodyguard. We went to the store first, then after that, we went to the abandoned mine. Upon arriving at the mine, I let the Rimmel bird from my dimension home out and then began the treatment of the cloths. During that time, I had Elia help me out with setting the cloth on the workbenches, and then after finishing that, we were left with nothing to do as per the usual pattern of my work. I think it would be a good time to start building my house here, but there's no way I could leave Elia alone. As I thought that, Elia asked me a question. "What should we do next?" "Elia, nothing in particular actually. After I give the order to the sticky slimes to treat the cloths, all that's left is to wait for the cloths to dry. This period is quite long, so it can be considered as free time from here on out. Usually I just train and make dolls to pass the time." "Ryalma, really? I thought for sure Ryalma would normally keep working." "Elia, actually, I've been quite free ever since the store became autonomous." "Ryalma, did I really look like I overworked that much? Did I really look that busy?" "Ryalma, it's because you're always working from morning till dusk." "Elia, I see, however, I don't actually work that much. There are also times when I'm just dazing off or looking for ways to kill time. And then there are also times when I'm making building stones to use for the construction of my house later." "Ryalma, so Ryalma-san really does plan to live here?" "Elia, yes. After all, I have to do rounds around the mine here, and I want a place where I can train magic without being a nuisance to others. So with that in mind, I believe this is the best place." "When will you begin the construction? At this rate you won't be able to live in the mine, right?" "Elia, right. For the meantime, I could just create a small shed or dig a cave and live there while I gradually build the house." "Ryalma, then in that case, do you mind if we talk for a bit?" "Elia, of course, what is it?" "Ryalma, we left the workshop and went somewhere where the sunlight reached. There, I made some chairs and we talked while sitting." "Elia, you'll be going to school this year, right?" "Ryalma, yes. All young noble ladies must attend the school at the royal capital upon reaching 12. Not attending will hurt one's reputation amongst nobles." "Elia, I see. Ryalma, the truth is that I don't want to go either, but unfortunately I have to." "Elia, really?" "Ryalma, yes. In fact, my parents and even my grandfather told me that if it wasn't for the fact that it was tradition to go, then they wouldn't even let me go." "Elia, why?" "Ryalma, the school of the royal capital is also open to commoners, and every year a lot of them are accepted. And although there isn't any difference in the treatment of students based on their social standing, there are quite a bit of people that cause issues." "Elia, it's that cliché thing you'd expect from this kind of setting. Moreover, the things taught at school can be learned at home as long as we call for a tutor. In fact, I was told that it's even more beneficial for me to learn from a tutor than from the school. After all, the school is." Elia, for some reason, Elia was a bit hesitant to say something. "The school is what?" "Ryalma, the chance of finding things that one should be studying there is low." "Elia, but it's a school, right? What's going on?" "Ryalma, I also don't know. It's just that father and the others told me to take care not to be influenced by the school's atmosphere. They also told me that it's fine to have bad grades in school, so I should practice the things that they'd taught me back at home." "Elia, they're going that far. That's why father didn't invite you." "Elia, oh, come to think of it. Ryalma, he definitely didn't tell me anything about the school." There's no way he would ask you. After all, if you were enrolled, then you would definitely become an excellent student, and the other nobles will have their eyes on you. Aaliyah, I see, that does make sense. Ryalma, that's why I'm really not that excited in going. If it wasn't a tradition, then I'd rather train with you. Aaliyah, well, since I didn't think school was fun either, I don't really have the right to say anything here, but in any case, Elia is the daughter of a duke, so she shouldn't be subject to bullying there. What I'm trying to say is, please don't forget your promise to meet with me after 3 years. Because of my social standing and my power, there are very few people who would talk to me normally and become my friends. Aaliyah, as she said that, her countenance became somewhat gloomy. I won't forget. Ryalma, when I said that, Elia let out a chuckle and then said this. I'll have you prove that after 3 years. If you fall into a daze with your job again, then I'll have you remember by hammering you with the magic I'd trained for 3 years. Aaliyah, scary. Please spare me that. Really though, where did you learn to talk like that? Ryalma, it feels kind of different from Elia's usual image. In the past, my mother had apparently used a similar method to make my father remember a promise he had forgotten. Aaliyah, I see. Ryalma Reinhardt-san, it's good that you're safe. While I was thinking that, Elia seemed to have suddenly thought of something. I have a good idea, Sebasu. Elia, yes, Ajao-sama, how may I be of service? Sebasu. Elia suddenly called Sebasu-san over and whispered something. After Elia finished, Sebasu-san nodded and opened his item box. From it he took out a small box. Elia took that box and presented it to me. Ryalma-san, please accept this. Aaliyah, it's a necklace I received from my mother on my 10th birthday. Aaliyah, as Elia opened the box, what lay inside was a golden necklace with chains of gold, and a ruby the size of a small pinky embedded on its golden pedestal. It's simple but luxurious. Moreover, this ruby is magic power. Ryalma, for some reason, I can feel magic power emanating from this ruby. Ara, did you notice? As expected of you, Ryalma-san. Actually, the ruby of this necklace is a magic gem, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Aaliyah, by magic gem, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. You mean the same as those used for lamps? Ryalma, no, that's incorrect. The ones used for lamps are called magic stones. Putting it simply, those are magic tools. Ryalma-san, do you know of magic jewels? Aaliyah, magic jewels, from what I know, there are plenty of those in places where the concentration of magic power in the air is strong. In other words, those are stones that have magic power in them, right? Ryalma, precisely. Magic jewels have magic power within them, and that magic power can be pulled out when using magic to use as assistance for magic control. And amongst magic jewels, there are those that are not just any ordinary stones, but gems. These gems that contain magic power came to be called as magic gems. In the same vein, if it were an ore, it would then be called a magic ore. Magic jewels are used to aid in the assistance of magic, while magic ores are used to increase the efficiency of magic tools. And as for magic gems, these can be used for anything, whether it be to aid one's magic, or to increase the performance of a magic tool, or even as a simple gem. On top of that, its effect is also stronger than a normal magic jewel. However, these gems are precious as their production rate is low, so these things are quite special. Aaliyah, after explaining that in one breath, she rested for a bit. So what you mean to say is that this is a really valuable item? Ryalma, yes, exactly. Aaliyah, there's no way I could take something so precious, you know. Ryalma, I want you to take it. Aaliyah, like I said, this thing is too expensive. Ryalma, like I could possibly take this. As I firmly refused, Elia firmly proposed. There, Sebasu-san interjected. Please calm down, you two. Ryalma-sama, although the Ajao-sama wants you to accept this, she isn't actually giving this to you. She only wants you to keep it until you meet again. Sebasu, keep it. Why? Ryalma-sama, you may not be aware of it, but there is a belief where letting your friend keep something precious before going somewhere far will increase your chances of meeting again. It isn't known who spread this belief, but it's a story from long ago and it's being practiced even till today as a bringer of luck. Surge, so it's something like that. And so, because of that, you want me to take the necklace. Ryalma, exactly. Aaliyah, isn't this something important to you? Is it really okay? Ryalma, if it wasn't, then I wouldn't have told you so in the first place. I believe you, so please give it back in 3 years. Aaliyah Mew, to actually be trusted to this degree, moreover, for it to be because of a promise to meet again. I understand. I'll take care of it until we meet again. Ryalma, really? Aaliyah, in exchange, I'll definitely give it back. Ryalma, of course. Aaliyah, and so, I accepted the box and put it inside my item box. If it's here, then I definitely won't lose it. Next is Aaliyah. I thought that I should also give Elia something, and so I thought of what I could give. What's my most treasured item? Money? Wait, I couldn't give something like that. It'd be too bulky to carry, then in that case pelt, but that's not particularly important. How about building stones, ingots, waterproof cloths? I don't seem to have anything satisfactory. Then it hit me. Dimension home. I take out a heal slime and a scavenger slime from my dimension home and present them to Elia. Ryalma-san, these two are. Aaliyah, I couldn't think of anything precious I could give you, and the only thing I could really think of as precious are my slimes, so I think these two slimes could become useful to you, so please take them. Ryalma. Elia was taken aback when she heard that, and barely keeping herself together, she covered her mouth with her hand as she tried not to laugh. So it's weird after all, huh? Or rather, why did I pick slimes as my mementos? Well, it's actually because I didn't have anything else that's suitable, but no, in the first place, it's a bit questionable to use slimes as a memento, but isn't there anything else? Foo, I'm sorry, Ryalma-san. I just thought it was just like you to think of something like that. Thank you, I'll take care of them. Aaliyah, really? Thank you very much. Ryalma, no, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for lending me your most precious slave monsters. Aaliyah, I let down the heal slime and scavenger slime in my arms and then canceled the contract. And then Elia contracted those too. I've successfully contracted them. I'll take care of them well. Aaliyah, thank you very much. Ryalma, after that, we talked about slimes, magic, and I even showed her some of my alchemy. Like that, time passed and eventually dusk was before us. We used space magic and went back to the town. Upon arrival, we went to check the store for a bit, and when we got there, we saw the store bustling with adventurers and doctors. The adventurers who went to the swamp and the doctors who processed the grell frogs were all covered in blood and mud. Because of them, the store was bustling with customers and the business flourishing. After that short stop, we went back to the lodging. Reinhardt-san and the others seemed to have already recovered from their hangover. Welcome back, Ryalma-kun. Reinhardt, thanks for taking care of Elia today. Madam, please don't mind it. It was fun for me too. Ryalma-san taught me a lot of magic, and while I still can't use it well, I'll do my best to learn them. Aaliyah, from the flow of the conversation, Elia learned the combination of the ice magic freeze, which freezes things a little, and the wind magic breeze, which creates air known as cooler. There's also the ice magic ice cube and a bunch of other things that I taught her. Although it would appear that she still can't use anything else aside from ice cube. Incidentally, since Sebasu-san was also with us, I taught him the magic, mist wash, and water gun. And just as you'd expect from Sebasu-san, despite me having only given him a simple explanation of compressing and shooting, he quickly learned how to use the magic after only 5 tries, and was even able to cut the rock I made with earth magic as a target into 2. Going back to the story. That's great, Elia, Rainbach. Yes, also Ryalma-san lent me his heal slime and scavenger slime. Elia, Ara, really, take care of them well, Elia, madam, of course. Elia, and so, after that, we continued to talk about the day we met and all sorts of other things until midnight, the day of separation. The Duke's household and the guards rode the carriage at the place behind the lodging where the carriages were, and one after another they called out to me from the window of the carriage. Take care of your body. Reinhardt, don't push yourself, okay? Madam, you should rest from time to time. Rainbach, if something comes up, be sure to contact us. Sebasu, if you have some free time, come over to our place. Jill, do your best, young master. Zeph, be well. Camel, keep yourself together. Huzu, I'll pray for your good health and fortune. Aaron, the members of the Duke's household, Aaron and Jill-san and co all called out to me. Everyone as well, please take care. Thank you for everything until now. Raiwam, as I said that, I bowed my head. I hate the fact that I'm not good at talking about various things for extended periods. I wish I could get my feelings across better. Ryama-san, until the day we meet again, I'll be doing my best to improve my skills. Elia, declared Elia from the top of the carriage. I'll be doing the same too. Ryama, do your best. Elia and Ryama, as my words overlapped with Elia's, we laughed. With the time of departure here, the escorts were the first to start moving as they led the convoy from the front. Elia and the others waved towards me from the window as they left, and I too waved to the fleeting carriage as I sent them off, the carriage eventually turning into a silhouette, until finally I could see it no more. With the carriage gone, I too walked away, showed my face at the shop, and then headed to the mine. From today on, I won't be living in the lodging but here, in the mine. Because of that, I have to get started with the construction of my house. Phew. Suddenly, I stop and I look at the sky. I don't have time to be sentimental, I know that. And yet I can't help but feel lonely. No, I'm not regretting my choice, but at times like this, there's nothing else to it except to work until I forget. But then if I did that, then when I send my letter, it won't have anything in it but work. She'll probably get mad at me if I did that. As I thought that, it would appear that I somehow lightened up as I could feel my face make a broad grin. Somehow I feel better. Well then, let's continue like this. Phew, let me say that again, I'll do my best. Ryama, I walk towards the mine again, but this time with a cheerful mood just like always. And so, like usual, my day also begins.